Man, sit down noise.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm 34 now.
Yeah, you're getting those.
To be fair though, I've been making sit down and stand up noises for like 5 years.
Yeah. Well, your body officially starts degrading after 25, so that checks out.
Good morning, Celeste. And yeah.
Hey, Celeste.
Straight up.
Welcome.
I'm signing into our own stream here. I gotta turn the sound down.
Hey, see that? See that shit?
One watching?
That title?
Oh, right. Discussing fandom and culture and media.
Yeah.
That's a good title.
Hey.
I like that. Oh, Kelly's here. So it's not just Celeste.
Oh, cool.
By the way, my wrist is screwed.
What'd you do?
It's from editing.
Oh, shit. No, that's fair. My arm.
This is what I was talking about, getting a trackpad for you too.
My thumb muscle
Really?
was already prone
to
sensitivity, but yeah, it's been like
becoming a problem
lately.
Right?
Like just poking it, it's like ow.
Yeah, we definitely need to get you a trackpad.
Ha! Sleep is Awesome was just in the middle of watching the Moana.
Oh. I'm glad you're deciding to come back to it. Wait.
M Geneva, it's first time.
I'd assume it's just pronounced Geneva.
Yeah.
Help me out here.
Yeah.
It's good to see you.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
What's up?
Yeah, I'm glad you guys are here on time because we were like mid conversation and then we're like, hey, wait a minute, isn't it like past 9?
Were we supposed to start this? I feel like we were doing something today.
Seriously.
This topic will be fun. Yeah, see, now people know what the topic is as they come into the stream. Nice.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And I'll try to have thumbnails maybe ready in advance too.
God damn it! Like literally, we just started.
Yeah.
I'm already sweating.
Sweating, bro.
Okay, guys, I'm just gonna.
Hey, I pronounced it right.
Oh, really?
Well, maybe you pronounced it right.
Yeah, I think it's probably me, right? Let's just confirm. Because I feel like saying M Geneva is.
I mean, I figured it was better than Geneva.
Yeah, I just assumed that the M is silent.
Yeah. I always want to touch that logo like it's a button.
I know!
It's so annoying, and I don't know how to get rid of it.
It
does nothing.
On the screen, and it doesn't do anything.
It does nothing. I wish that I could put something over it, but I can't, even if I put a graphic up.
It's a fan.
Yes, I do.
It's fucking hot now.
I know. It's toasty.
Bro. It's like so cloudy outside. I hate Australian summer so bad. It's like, yeah, it's going to storm all summer. Sick. No, it's still going to be hot. Oh.
Yeah. No. You get all the downsides, none of the benefits.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it's a freak storm, so.
You saw me come back from grocery shopping a couple of days ago.
Yeah, this dude was drenched.
I was drowning in my own sweat. It was disgusting.
I mean, dripping.
My drip was
like,
insane.
When you say the drip, you don't even know, man.
I was a legit drip god.
Yeah.
From Latvia. I love how we have like a wide selection of people. Even when I was going through the demographics for our lives, it's only like 30% US, which means everyone's spread out.
Wow. We have a diverse, group here, okay? We're, got some crazy ideas floating around.
God, we've got a token person from every
nationality. That's 30% Americans and one person from every other country in the world. Yeah. Exactly one.
Hey, we've got a niche audience, you know.
Yeah.
There's always one weirdo from every country.
Well, in Germany is winter and fruit. Yeah, anyone in the northern hemisphere, channel-wise, it's bizarre seeing them wearing sweaters and stuff. I'm like, aren't you hot?
I know it's like that.
Doing
the opposite for them too. Yeah.
They're just
seeing us wet in the face,
just sweating in gross, sweaty t-shirts and shit.
Why?
It's -7, man. Fuck that.
Hurt when you're in sweat. Yeah, dude. That's pretty much Australia all through summer.
Yeah.
You just wake up a little bit wet and sticky. You're like,
I know that it's not great for energy consumption, but most of the time I have to leave the fan on. Otherwise, I just can't sleep.
Forget it. Sorry, it's just so funny. It's not great for energy consumption. This is Australia.
Yeah.
If you do not sleep with the fan on, there is something wrong.
You just get a die of overheating. Yes, it was Sam's birthday.
Yeah.
Christina. The other day?
Saturday,
yeah.
What day is it today? Monday?
Monday, yeah.
2 days ago.
Yeah.
It's funny though, because me and Maria were talking about this earlier. For half the year, I kept being like, yeah, I'm 34. She's like, dude, you're 33.
I know, yeah.
I'm like, oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, I've been doing the same with saying that I'm 30, even though I'm not turning 30 for another 6 months.
You forget about it. You're like, I'm already old, right?
I'm already there.
Here's the plus side. When you get to your actual birthday, you're like, I've been 30 for like half a year already. It's fine.
I'm used to it. These dang kids. Leave them alone.
50 Fahrenheit, 11 Celsius. I'd love 11 Celsius right now. Thank you, Celeste and Christina. Yeah. Honestly, the spiders aren't as bad as they're made out to be.
It's really exaggerated.
Most of the spiders are pretty chill. They just want to be left alone.
I mean, honestly, the biggest one that I see getting posted around is huntsmen because they're large. But they're not. But also, my logic is, if you have huntsmen, you don't have cockroaches.
Yeah, or like flies. Yeah.
They eat them.
And honestly, huntsmen aren't really aggressive.
No, they're not. They're super chill.
They're very chill.
Anytime, I find one in the house and,
you just pick it up and take it out.
I pick it up.
Yeah, it's just like, climb on the hand, buddy. All right, we're going outside.
I usually will get a piece of paper because they're more comfortable with it. They're more scared of the hand because it's moving.
That's fair.
You get a piece of paper and it's just like, they're like, oh my god. And it's like, stop being a drama queen. Just get out.
See, I just put my hand next to the spider. I'm like, yo, buddy. And he's like, okay.
No, I tried that. Most of the time. It does work sometimes.
It does depend on the spider.
But I prefer giving them more surface area to work with. Because a lot of the time, the fucking bastards will just get on.
They'll keep climbing.
You lift. They'll keep climbing and I'll just do the hand thing. And then they just decide, yeet! Just jump right off.
Yeah. So, speaking of which, guys, if you ever do come to Australia, the large spiders, you generally don't have to worry about.
It's the small ones.
The little ones you can barely see.
Yeah.
That's what's concerning.
That's the one that's more likely to be venomous.
Don't leave your shoes outside.
No, don't ever do that.
Yeah. Hang on. So, let's see.
How many people we got? 20?
Happy birthday messages. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
That's sweet.
Much love. Wet and Sticky is very... Mr. Benson... I did not watch iCarly. That was the one with Jeanette McCurdy, right?
Pretty sure.
Cool. I know who she is. Hope you had a great day. I did nothing. I lay on the couch and played NBA 2K. It was great.
Yeah.
Well, and I edited the video a little bit more because copyright.
Copyright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yes. Whatever.
You're welcome.
Mine was on the... Wait, yours is on the 6th? Mine's the 7th.
Huh.
Cool.
Nice.
Hate all bugs. Don't like... That's fair.
Well, spiders aren't bugs. They are animals.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they're animals.
They count as animals.
They count as animals, yeah.
Arachnids are animals. Cool. Hope you guys know that 30 is probably the best decade. I'm actually starting to agree with that. Because I feel like, I don't feel like a whole lot different to my 20s, except I'm less dumb now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You just get more experience.
It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, not quite as many health problems.
Yeah.
Then 40s, when everything starts going downhill.
Maybe, I don't know. The only thing that I care about with my 30s versus my 20s is just the fact that my hair's going.
Oh, yeah.
That's disappointing. I gotta get the minoxidil.
You really do.
We talked about it. I haven't been down the street recently.
Thick head of hair doesn't come on its own, you know?
No, it comes with 3 pills a week and a little bit of foam in the hair every day.
Yeah. Well, a milliliter of liquid.
Yeah, sure. Hang on. Stop keeping track of my age past 20. Yeah, straight up. I don't really think about my birthday anymore. Birthdays are not a big deal to me. I'm
just imagining you as just like this fucking 80-something-year-old woman. I start keeping track after 20, man. I have no idea. I've got a good idea. Ballpark, you know?
Sound crazy with the spider talk, yeah. I mean, Australia.
Yeah.
Middle of March at the beginning of F1. I love Christina's always talking about F1. I never have any idea what she's talking about.
Sorry, yeah. I do not care for cars.
Are bugs not considered animals? I don't think so.
No, I don't think
Generally
so.
Speaking, not so much.
It's a separate thing. Yeah. Separate category.
Yeah.
Technically
speaking. Okay, so. I thought spider was an insect. No, it's an arachnid.
Arachnid.
So, yeah.
Same as scorpions. Scorpions are cool.
Here I am!
Yeah, they're arachnid. Rock you like a hurricane!
Oh god, the scorpion turns off on the table.
Here I am! Rock you like a hurricane! Oh shit!
Oh dude, Maria's getting so sick of hearing that. Because every time we're watching TV, I'm like, go to the bathroom, I'll go get food or whatever, I come back, I'm like, here I am! He's so fucking over it.
We should use that sound clip. Just for when if a character ever just suddenly arrives on screen, just freeze frame. Here I am.
Dude, there are so many things that I'm like, oh man, I just forgot to use.
Gotta write them down. Yeah.
All right, seriously though, we're starting.
We're getting into this segment now. So
we're doing the
as
thing.
you saw from the title, we're going to be talking about fandom culture. So the good, the bad, and the worst.
Now you have your outline, your list
somewhere.
Structural.
Here it is. Yeah. So we got it. So we're just going to do this like last time. Just two main segments. And just keeping it kind of like having little dot points in between. So we're going to start off with the good stuff, the good shit, and segment starts now. So the pros. Big one, obviously, is just community.
Yeah.
Fan communities.
It's like the number one most obvious thing about fandoms when it comes to like the positive stuff is the community. It's the friends you make.
You meet people with similar interests to you. Like, fuck, back in the day, you could go your whole life and not meet another person who played Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Now it's almost like the opposite, where it's like an echo chamber. You go online and it's exclusively people who like Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, it's like the social media algorithms are so aggressive now.
They know how to put you in a box. Okay,
yeah, which is again that's another pro and con.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Different topic.
But the community itself, big deal. I mean, like, I would say pretty much all of the friends I have, all of the people I know, come from some fandom or another, or some version. Because you and I know each other from rock and roll fandom.
Exactly, yeah.
I know some of my other buddies from basketball fandom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And anyone who tries to say that, like, no, that's different. No, it's not.
Wait, what's
there are dudes who, there are guys who try to. I've made that comparison before. They're like, oh yeah, I mean, like, being a fan of bands is kind of like just being in a fandom, and I've had people get like kind of weirdly defensive about it. And they're like, no, that's different. I think
how?
I think because in their minds they inherently associate the idea of fandoms with female-oriented content and like content that's targeted towards teenage girls. Yeah, I think because they think Twilight, they think Hunger Games, like it's a fandom. And they think like, oh, that's what the fuck? That's like girly shit, bro. Like, no, this is different. This is just a bunch of bros bonding over a common interest.
To be clear, I don't think that all dudes who think that way it has anything to do with the feminine aspect. Because like for the rock and roll especially, you're gonna get a lot of those people who will think that you're a poser if you're not like into the fandom.
Oh,
and
for sure.
That like being a fan of rock and roll is good. It's not a fandom. It's a lifestyle.
Oh no, I know.
It's a culture.
I've just had people who have literally used the argument. Oh, but that's like teenage girls and stuff.
They literally use those
words. And I was like, I feel like you just are insecure about being lumped in with teenage girls. For some reason, you
hold up. How do you get the idea that being into something is girly?
I know.
It's not inherently
being into it in a different way though.
What?
Yeah. It was bizarre.
What?
It only happened a few times, but it's the fact that it happened more than once. It's the fact that it happened at all, really. I was like, I get the impression you're not the only guy who thinks this.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you came across one, there's got to be more.
There's got to be, man.
I hadn't even considered that. I never thought that like that would be an issue with being a fan of something. Or like,
what? I always thought that it was weird that people got so judgy about fandom culture. When I was like, but everyone has a fandom, it's...
Football players are fans of football.
Yeah, but it's not a fandom. That's like gay, that's gay shit. That's not the same.
I think part of that might be because in stuff like sports, there's a lot more casual fans.
Yeah.
Whereas in certain fandoms, there's not as many casual fans.
It's not as much.
How many casual anime fans are there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not saying
they're there, but
I'm not saying, but like most of the time, if you meet an anime fan, they
like anime. Yeah,
they like anime.
That's true.
Yeah.
Actually, even in terms of community, one other thing I wanted to bring up was how the creators of the piece of media, whether it's a book, a show, a movie, they can be involved in that fandom community. They can be really like nice, positive relationships. Especially now, there can be a really nice, positive relationship between like creators and fans where there's like an exchange of ideas, there's fan service and little things thrown into episodes that they're like, we know you guys are going to get this because you guys are the most dedicated ones. And that's just really sick, you know?
Obviously, it can go too far.
Obviously.
Supernatural.
We'll get to that later.
Primary example.
We will get to that later.
Fan service, you know?
But yeah, next one, I guess, would be creativity.
Yeah, obviously, both the inspiring of creativity and the exposure to creativity.
Yeah.
Both like giving people the idea of, you could be a writer or a comedian or an animator or an actor or whatever. You know what I mean?
Or just seeing an idea that maybe is similar to something you've been tossing around in your head for a while, but we're like, oh, I don't know, I don't think people would be into that. And then you see someone else
do a similar
thing, and you're like, oh wait, there's a market for this.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think, honestly, if you're really into something, there's going to be a market for it.
Yeah.
It's kind of the way I always thought about songwriting. I'm like, if this song gets stuck in my head, what are the chances it'll get stuck in someone else's head?
Exactly.
And the answer has always been pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the way people encourage, like, yeah, man, like, if you want to draw, like, try it. Like, fan art can be, like, a pretty hit and miss kind of a topic, but... fan art, fan fiction. We're trying to focus on the positives right now.
Positive aspects. Yeah.
It's just like the fact that even if it's not amazing, no one cares. They're just as long as you like the show or the movie or whatever, you care about the characters and it's something that you're putting your heart and soul into. A lot of people will just be supportive of that. Like fucking awesome, man. Like keep writing.
You have that genuine interest and passion.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's nice to get that support from like-minded people who don't judge you and whose first response isn't something along the lines of, yeah, but like, are you going to like make a career out of this? What are you going to do with this though? And it's I was just having fun.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was an inadequate reason to do something, self-fulfillment.
Especially when you're young.
I know, yeah. And it's like a lot of these people are kids. So it's great to see kids being like encouraged
to be creative, in like with your home life, most of like your family, friends, school teachers, whatever, you're not going to get a lot of support. Like sometimes some people do, and you can usually see the positive impact that having support will have on that person.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But I think it's more common for people to not really get any kind of support on their creative endeavors, largely because it's not just no one believes in you as an individual to be creative, it's also that they don't believe in themselves or anyone else. They're like, this is pretty much impossible, and I'm not technically good enough, so neither of you.
I
know it's a subconscious thought.
They're convinced, they subconsciously convince themselves that it's not possible for people of their, I don't know, echelon.
They're like, hey, people like us don't make it.
Don't make it. And like, there's only people like us. There's only people, I mean, like, sure, there are people who have, like, privilege and whatnot as well.
That's a whole other story.
I mean, like, man, fuck off if you think that people who have disadvantages can't make it. The number of people,
it's one of the bigger motivators to make it.
Yeah, is the adversity. Man, it's like, but for me at least, I got discouraged from doing art in school because of the pressure to apply it in an academic sense. So then when because I was good at art practically, but academically on the like written exams, it was terrible. And because I kept failing that side of it, I was failing half the course. I was like, well, fuck this. Like, and I didn't pursue it. And I kind of got turned off for a really long time. But maybe if I had been more involved in like a fandom community with more people just encouraging even the shittiest doodle, might have been nice. And that's just kind of like I think one of the biggest pros is just having you get the support that you might not get in your normal life. You meet people who really get your interests. Because a lot of people just don't want to hear about it.
Especially if you're into anything that's even remotely alternative.
Yeah. You get like hey, be yourself. Whoa, not like that. No, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, that's entirely fair.
Whereas fandom communities really do allow you to let your freak flag fly.
For the most part, you're still going to get some judgment, but obviously that comes into
That's going to come later.
Part 2. But I mean, I think for both of us, without fandoms, like, where would we be?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I wasn't a giant Megadeth fan, I wouldn't be sitting on this couch right now. I would have done something entirely different with my life. For the record, that's this one, Megadeth, right? So that's like the reason that I started playing guitar.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there is a lot of negativity in metal community, but I would say that that's the same for all fandoms, and
Yeah.
part of the point of this video, we'll get to that aspect of it a bit later.
It varies. There is one thing I will say, just like some fandoms are surprisingly more wholesome, and then some are surprisingly more toxic or
On an average
present
level.
more on an average level.
Sure.
Like the Good Omens fandom, from what I've heard, is incredibly wholesome. Like there is some toxicity, as you're always gonna find. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing. Like sometimes you'll just, it's like, oh yeah, wow, this is a nice little show about, you know, like a cartoon, and oh my god, the people here are terrible. What the fuck? What is wrong with you all? Why?
Yeah, I definitely found that more in comic book fandom and oh my god, basketball fandom. I don't know. You don't know many basketball players, right?
No.
But it's unfortunately more or less what you'd expect, just having known athletes in general.
Yeah.
The fans of basketball are so incapable of talking to each other.
Right.
It's just very disappointing.
I mean, it's a community where, I mean, it's sport, so off the bat,
There's a lot of dudes who don't know how to talk.
Yeah, it's a lot of testosterone and dick measuring. So
in some cases,
that makes sense.
Yeah. But I keep going for like the negative aspects somewhere.
Yeah. It's hard. We're trying to keep this broken up, but they bleed into each other a lot.
They do.
And, you know,
Activism was the
third thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, you do get a lot of inspiring of activism.
Yeah.
A lot of calls to action, a lot of instigation by people who are trying to use their platforms for positive changes.
It's a common ground for people to come together and, you know, decide, hey, actually, this is kind of important. Or, hell, it can even sometimes be just a fan who's going through a hard time financially and their community, the people they met on the, like, message board can rally around them. And it's like, whoa, that's like a whole group of friends who normally would have been separated by entire continents.
Or are,
and they still manage to come together. You know, people meet each other. Fucking Kelly going to Germany, you know, hanging out.
Good example, right in this chat room right here.
In this chat room right here. Like, fandoms can bring people together.
Yeah.
That's really sweet, honestly.
Like we say with Jenny and Kelly, I wish we could like bring up your photos.
Yeah,
you guys are positive example, but we don't know how to do that. So
I probably could figure it out.
You get a thumbs up.
Yeah, good on you guys. You did fandoms correct. Even like tying into the activism community kind of thing is also how minority like subcultures can really like band together in them. Like a lot of
it's something I've been noticing more of is like the way you it's like you think a lot of fandoms would have minority subcultures, especially by the way superheroes.
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking about it the other day. I'm like, why are so many comic book and superhero fans seemingly like people who aren't oppressed, like straight white guys?
Yeah, that's like the poster child for a comic book fan. Is like this straight white upper middle class dude.
Generally speaking, dude lives in his mom's basement or whatever, and it's like you think a lot of comic book fans would be like minority based, whether that be like racially, sexually, or otherwise.
Yeah, well, if you look at the fandom content, that is very much what it reflects.
I definitely find it's becoming more represented as time goes by.
Oh, absolutely. That they're kind of catching up. And it's weird because, especially with comic books, you look at the comics and it seems to be predominantly targeting, that straight white dude who lives in his mom's basement. But then you look at fan content and there's race mixing, there's, like characters' sexual orientations being reinterpreted, and there's so much hate for that stuff.
I know,
There's so much backlash, but it is just this overwhelming amount of content. I don't think it's a coincidence that the general consensus amongst, toxic straight dudes is like, man, fandom stuff is so gay, because like, you know what? It's a very hurtful sentiment, but in the way that they mean it, because it's they intend it in a derogatory sense. But it's kind of true. There is a lot of queer culture. There is a lot of queer culture and queer subgroups within fandoms. There's queer groups and there's racially diverse groups. There's neurodivergent groups are especially like very common because these people feel ostracized in the real world, but they have an easy way to find each other and bond over these common interests. So then that's how you end up with people being like, hey, so like, what if Batman was trans?
Sure.
Wouldn't that be interesting, And then people get mad about it. then
thinking of it from like a biological standpoint.
We're not going to get
That's
into.
a whole other
we're not going to
story.
get into all the technicalities of it, but just whatever. People just having fun with the characters, with
Having
different
creative fun.
interpretations.
Yeah, sure. I
of,
love to see all the Elseworld stories and all the different versions
Yeah,
of characters.
exactly, and that's all it really is.
Mm.
But then, yeah, just it sucks about the backlash.
It does,
Which is weird, because then I would really be curious to see a completely foolproof, accurate representation of how many fans come from what
different
kind of denominations.
Well, I think that part of the reason, obviously, why there's going to be such a large demographic of, I don't know, privileged dudes in comics for this instance is just because there are so many.
Yeah.
You know, the minority cultures are called minority cultures for a reason.
Yeah.
You know?
But it's weird, though, when you even consider, like, the origins of comic characters. Like, Superman's origin story is inherently kind of Jewish coded.
Is it?
I mean, it's like a lot of comparison has been made to Superman's story and, like, the story of Moses.
Okay.
Also, just the fact that he's literally an immigrant.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's literally an immigrant, but he's like, and it's the whole thing. Like, oh yes, he's an immigrant who came to America and adopted the American ways. He's an embodiment of the American dream, but somehow just chronically whitewashed.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And seen as like this poster child for like white culture, but it's like he's kind of inherently very ethnic.
Thinking about it now, I think the guy currently playing Superman on TV, Tyler Hoechlin, I think he's mixed race too, and I'm like, yeah, makes sense.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Yeah.
In fact, I think one of the reasons, I think he was turned down for like the bigger role because of his ethnicity.
Yeah, it's a bummer, but I wouldn't be surprised.
But like Tyler Hoechlin is the best Superman since Chris Reeves.
Yeah,
like just not even really close. And like, no offense, I like Henry Cavill. It's the writing behind Henry Cavill Superman that's the problem, not his performance.
Henry Cavill got screwed.
I actually like Henry himself as Superman. But yeah, Tyler Hoechlin's the best Superman.
Yeah,
this is not even close.
I've only seen clips, and I was like, oh yeah, that's him.
Yeah, that's
him.
That's what Superman's supposed to be.
That's Clark.
Yeah.
Clark, the lame dad.
Yeah.
There he is, guys.
There he is, yeah. But you know, what's also fun, like, not funny, interesting, cool, I noticed while watching sort of the CW over the years for like 8, 9, almost, 10 years now? It's been around the CW Arrowverse, whatever you want to call it. At this point, it's heavily minority based. It's
driven.
Yeah. Like, it's not really driven by, like, I don't know, just like average white guys anymore.
Yeah.
You know, not to say that Oliver Queen's average, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's like I was saying, a lot of these ideas and concepts were invented by people of non-traditional, backgrounds and upbringings, and then it kind of just got hijacked by like mainstream like white heteronormative culture and made like comic code authority. Is that it? Like
Comics Code Authority.
Yeah, the Comics Code Authority came in and were like, no, you can't have like sexually deviant activity, you can't have violence, you can't have, they basically were like, no to all the weird things.
Right.
We're not having any of that. So a lot of it got suppressed, but there's heaps of characters that are like inherently queer coded, inherently like non-white coded, and yeah, it's interesting to see it get hijacked in that way. When you think of, even in the most basic terms, the idea of superheroes being, having a normal everyday persona that you present to the world, but then in your second life you don a colorful outfit, and you know a community of other like-minded people who are different from society. You're outcast, and some people think you're great, but other people hate you and ostracize you. Like, I know the X-Men was supposed to be a metaphor for race, and it's kind of outdated at this point, but it still kind of stands up as like a metaphor for queerness. That it's like, oh yeah, like hated, but also we have a community and we support each other. Found family everywhere, guys.
To be honest with you, I think Doom Patrol does a way better job of that.
Yeah, for sure. But like, it's just talking generally.
I know what you're saying.
Just these ideas, and it's like, it's just so weird that Tyler, is vibing with this, thinking like, yeah, man, this is my life. I'm the outcast.
Oh,
I'm
you mean
the
like
underdog.
you mean just average white guy?
Yeah,
Tyler. Okay,
your Kyles.
Yeah, sure.
It's like, And it's like, bro, this is pretty gay, just on a base concept level.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think it was one of the people who wrote for Batman said like Batman is inherently a very gay idea.
Yeah.
But he's like this poster child of like straight masculine power.
Same thing with Chucky.
Yeah. Like, it's really funny.
The entire Child's Play series is so gay.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how many people get mad about that.
Although
they think Don Mancini ruined Child's Play. I'm like, he is
Child's Play. It's his idea.
What?
Like, you know, he ruined my idea of what Child's Play should have been.
Yeah. Yeah. Why couldn't he write it the way I wanted?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. But at the same time, fan communities can help bring more of that stuff back into the mix.
Yeah.
You think
Which is where I think we're at right now.
Yeah. You think of people like Geoff Johns, and it's like...
Jeff.
Is it Jeff or is it Joff?
Where'd you get Joff from?
Because it's spelled G-E-O.
Dude. That is always Jeff.
I'm a wog, okay?
There's no Joff.
Letters are letters, alright? You say it as it's written.
Fucking Italian.
Fuck off. You lucky dip son of a bitch. Jeff Johns. He's just a fan.
Yeah,
but now
absolutely.
his fan ideas, his fan
he's
content.
He's like the ultimate fan.
Yeah.
And now he's president of DC.
Now he's president of DC.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much, that's something that I said to someone once was like, every single piece of comic book fiction that came after the advent of their original creators is fan fiction. That's just been made
how the
canon.
comic industry works.
That's how the comic industry works. So when people try to go like, no, fuck that, that's just a stupid fan theory, and it's dumb, it's like, I think part of the reason they get so mad about it is because they know that if it picks up enough steam, it might become canon. If it gets that deeply entrenched in the cultural zeitgeist, that's just going to be how it is.
Yeah. And Jeff is the perfect example of that.
He's the perfect example of that.
You can go back and find the ideas he wrote for his comic book characters when he was like 16, and he set them in fan letter style to the editors.
And like the back page and shit.
Yeah, you can find back pages from comics in like '98. It's just young Geoff Johns being like, "Hey, what if?" And you're like, And like a lot of those ideas, like the Green Lantern thing, like he completely fixed Green Lantern, like the entire lore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then he went through and did the same for like Superman and the Flash.
Yeah.
And just like Justice League in general. He wrote so many good storylines. Yeah. I'm pretty sure All-Star Superman is Geoff Johns.
Yes, it is. Yeah. That I know for sure. But yeah, it's just how it's cool. It's cool that the people who love the media can have an influence on it, because it's like it kind of is for them. Like, it's who else is it for? It's kind of one of my problems with when a studio adapts a IP and they're like, well, we need to make it more appealing to a mainstream. Do you?
Yeah.
Do you? There's people who've never heard of it. I mean, I get the need to make money to fund the damn thing, but still.
What they're trying to do is bring in the casual fans without pissing off the hardcore fans, but they always piss off the hardcore fans.
They always piss off the hardcore fans because...
Which is sometimes a good thing.
Well, because
the
unfortunate thing, it's kind of like with the queer baiting argument. If you just imply, if you kind of have the queerness, but without actually stating it, you get to keep the hardcore right-wing anti-gay people and also the people who are in support of like queer communities.
Because people interpret it their own way.
Well, because also they'll take anything they can get.
Sure.
They're starved.
No, I'm just looking at people overall.
Oh yeah, sure.
Like as both groups.
Yeah. But if you double down and like try to appeal to, you know, the hardcore fans, then the casuals don't come. So if you take a kind of like sort of half-assed approach, you can get both. But if you go in one direction, like, you won't. But even if you go hard out and make a crappy adaptation of something, chances are the fans of that IP will still watch it, even if it's bad.
I'm a classic example of that.
You know?
Yeah, if I'm a fan of like particular IP, I don't care how bad it is. I'm gonna see it.
Yeah.
That's my Animorphs, perfect example.
Exactly.
That was garbage.
Oh, yeah.
And I totally watched every episode.
But they know that it's like, but they're still going to watch it and then complain about it and then
give
it a whole bunch of attention because they made a YouTube video about it. Yeah. You know, so it sucks. But yeah, all right, we're out of time for that section. We've been out of time for a while. Yeah. We'll go through some questions and shit now.
So I'll take us back a little bit. How far back are we going here?
So I kind of went on a tangent there about comics particularly, but it's a good example.
Fandom culture can also transcend countries and continents now. Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's really interesting how much you learn about culture in different countries through fandom culture. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
And different cultures' interpretations of the same media.
Yeah, sure. Pros, it brings people together with common interest. Yeah, well, community.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Community.
Yeah.
Fandom culture even has its own language. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's common like terms and tropes and stuff that are kind of exclusive.
Sense of belonging, somewhere. Same thing. Community. Yeah. Fandoms are usually associated with girls or associated with those really weird, obsessive superfans that don't have a life outside of the fandom. That's the issue because that's not what it is. Yeah, well, it's obviously more complicated than that.
It's the loudest voice in the room argument. Is that the most shocking, weird stuff is going to get the most attention because it's shocking and weird.
Yeah.
You're not going to hear about the fan fiction where it was like beautifully crafted and well done and like, oh wow, surprisingly competent for like an amateur. No, you're gonna hear the one where they made a character from the show have sexual relations with a Tetris block. That's a real thing.
What?
That's a real thing.
Okay.
And yeah, of course, that sticks out more in your mind, doesn't it?
I guess it does.
Of the two, you're more morbidly curious about the latter.
For some guys, it's so hard to like women or anything feminine. Those are the ones who only says it's objects and a fragile masculinity. Jesus, that's a confusing sentence. But yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I agree with the sentiment. Yeah.
Creativity. Figures? Oh, fan art.
Figures,
right. Yeah, sure.
Fan art is a symbol.
It helps you disconnect from things like work.
Yeah.
Absolutely, a bit of escapism. That's what a good rock show is all about.
It's no different to a concert, to a football game.
What a concert should be.
Well, what it should be, yes.
So many artists don't understand that what you're selling is like a night of fun. It's fantasy and it's escape from reality.
Yeah, exactly.
That you're not selling, I'm sick at art. You should respect my artistry.
Yeah. Check out this scale.
Yeah. So many musicians. Just like, dude, check how sick I am at music.
Look at how many notes I can fit into this progression.
No, it's not even about how fast. Like that. Okay, no. Like, there's so many times when playing fast is.
No, I mean,
a very expressive tool.
I know that, but you know what I mean.
I know.
You know the kind of people I'm talking about.
I absolutely.
I'm not saying it's exclusively that. I just mean it's like
what you're saying is going to be very easily misinterpreted.
Sure.
People who play fast stuff are the problem.
All right. Well, that is not what I'm saying. It's people who are showing off for the sake of showing off.
Yeah, but there are shitloads of ways to show off that don't include playing fast now.
No. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Okay. Oh shit! The comment section moved ahead of me. Stupid. Shit. Where are we?
Here we go. Yeah.
Hang on. Stop. Yeah. Every time I think I know how fragile the male ego is, I get convinced it's even worse. For the most part, it's really fucking sad. One of the reasons why I tend to gravitate more towards having a female audience and just female friends in general is because I don't feel like I have to compete with women all the time. Or more importantly, I don't feel like women are trying to compete with me.
Yeah.
We can just talk, and it's cool. But virtually every new straight guy I talk to, within 5 minutes, they've told me a story about how tough they are and about how they're totally right about this thing they know nothing about.
Yeah.
Like 5 minutes.
General one-upmanship.
Yeah, and I didn't bring anything up.
No, yeah.
They're trying to, like, prove that they're tougher than me, and I didn't say a single fucking word.
They're like, haha, you've missed your chance. Now I get the upper hand.
You're like, cool, man. Whatever. You know? Do you guys think that these things about fandoms also apply to music?
Absolutely do. Like I was saying, some people actually actively try to deny it.
Which
actually
is
try to act like, no, it's different. It's different. It's not the same.
Bro, I don't care what the content is. I don't care what the media is. If you're a fan of it, it has a fandom. Seriously.
Yeah. I think that might also be why, like, things like BTS and whatnot are kind of like these, like, seen as these anomalies, because it really is a merging of those two ideas where it's like, oh my god, it's like coming into the mainstream where it's like, wait, people write fan fiction about this? So it's like, the fandom culture tropes like fan fiction and fan art tend to come from the ones like boy bands and stuff like that, and like K-pop groups and stuff.
To be clear, if you're doing fan fictions about real people, you need to be really
you need to be incredibly careful about that.
That is some dodgy shit.
That's a whole other can of worms. We're going to get into another time.
Another after situation.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
We'll get into that another time.
I've definitely met people that associate the word fandom with female-based interest.
Yeah.
Huh. There you go.
Pretty much.
Love the Moana video today. Thank you, Mars. Appreciate that. Yes, fandom art. The people who have chosen a real career in video cutting entertainment writing because of fandom culture is totally true.
Exactly, yeah.
You can almost consider us in that
the number of professional artists who work on shows that I like who have profiles on DeviantArt. and just post random fan art every day of other things that they like.
Yeah, one of the actors that I like, having just grown up seeing her on all the sci-fi stuff I like, Jodelle Micah, she does cosplays on Instagram really often, and they're really good.
Makes sense. Whoa, someone who works in this
someone who likes to pretend to be other characters is pretending to be another character? Holy shit!
What a fucking concept!
By the way, I don't know if she goes by Jodelle Micah or Jodelle Fairlands, depending.
Account. Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, she's great.
That's kind of like how now there's kind of there's a new standard, there's a new precedent where it's like, if you're going to play this character, like Benedict Cumberbatch read up on Doctor Strange before playing Doctor Strange.
Sure.
Whereas I remember interviews.
Used to be.
Yeah, it didn't used to be. I remember interviews from the first like X-Men movies where they.
I didn't even read the comics.
Yeah, they were
you fucking should have.
I'd never read it. Yeah, I'd never even really heard of X-Men. So yeah, I just kind of like glanced over it, and it's like, wow, Anna Paquin.
Oh, okay, that's fair. I'm okay with that.
It's okay.
I was expecting it to be James Marsden. I'm like, jeez.
What you got against James?
I love James. Fandom culture can open your eyes to different perspectives and seeing stuff from different points of view. Absolutely, 100%.
Because something that you think of as like, no, this is absolutely what they meant, what the writers intended, and then someone's like, no, I got something completely different from that, and it forces you to consider things from other perspectives.
I'm in an online role-play group for Star Trek. I have no clue, but it is fun, and the guys I play with are really chill. It helps with disconnecting. Sure, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Some fan fiction I've read are really good, like plot-wise and story-wise. One in particular to keep going back and reading.
Yeah.
Is it After?
Yeah, no, I doubt it. But, like, fuck, you know who does fan fiction writing? Neil Gaiman.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to me. Thank you. Dark Jade, by the way. Appreciate you. IRS, what's that? Internal Revenue Service.
I think maybe they misspelled hits.
It's
fascinating to see how different people of different backgrounds see stuff and experience it. Have personal story, like I learned how to speak English thanks to movies and anime.
Yeah, I know a lot of Europeans that have the exact same story there. Yeah. Don't know what that means. Cool. Okay, especially when there is some sort of moral dilemma presented in the movie, show, or whatever you're a fan of, you get a variety of views on it. They give new perspectives. Oh my god! Totally agree with that.
That can be good or bad.
It can be
depending on the moral question
depending on who's writing it.
Yeah.
The only issue I have with that is usually when people writing a show have a moral story that's obvious, is the people watching the show are already on board.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing, it's just disappointing because the people who need to hear that message aren't watching that show.
Yeah, it hasn't been I think there was a video I watched from a channel called Hello Future Me where he talks about mental health being depicted in media and how most of the time when mental health is depicted in media, it's being depicted for people who have never experienced mental health issues. And they're reconstructing it in a way that makes it a satisfying narrative, but is actually horrifically misinterpreting what mental health issues actually are like. And so it doesn't help anyone because it doesn't really spread awareness, and it can also be very triggering for people with serious issues.
Sure. Fandoms tend to support the creator through ups and downs, giving them better longevity.
That too.
Yes. Yeah.
Fucking Patreons and GoFundMes and stuff. Entire shows being carried by fan support.
I mean, they also harass the creators and they want something that is being down. Yeah, we're going to get to that. Yeah. Happy birthday to me. Thanks, Ben. I think once you're a part of many fandoms, you realize which are the nice fandoms, which are the toxic. Okay, to be fair, there's toxicity in every fandom.
There is toxicity, but
that's kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah, I think like the overall
I do
vibe.
get what you're saying. Yeah, the average vibe. Sure. Yeah. This explains why I like WNBA more among fans. Yeah, that's 100. Being a fan of both NBA and WNBA, I think the biggest difference in the fan culture is just the ability to communicate. Because NBA fans are usually either men or women who are either very serious basketball fans or very casual. There's not a lot of medium fandom there. Well, some, obviously. But I'm not going to talk about the on-court product because there are some... This is a whole other conversation. That could be a whole other video. But amongst the fans, I would say WNBA fans are just better at communicating.
I'll try to read a couple more questions. We just ran out of time.
I know, we're totally running out of time. Laura, happy birthday, Sam. Thank you very much. Without fandom culture, a lot of stuff wouldn't be made or renewed. Think about Lucifer or Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yeah, getting brought back from at the brink of cancellation.
Did
Totally.
Lucifer need to be brought back?
I don't watch it. Or any other show that got saved by another network just because of fan culture. How late am I to the stream? Half an hour? 9:26.
About halfway
hour?
through.
Yeah.
Halfway through.
No, not halfway through. He's half an hour late.
Oh right. Oh yeah. At the time of the question. Yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but yeah, it's also good when they are supportive. So I do still agree. Well, again, that's a mixed bag. Yeah, I guess the basketball fandom is a bit like soccer, for example. When Barca plays real, I once heard that it wasn't chill. Okay, that's a little bit more European sports fandom versus other sports fandom because it gets pretty intense, especially Barca. I'm assuming you mean Barcelona, the soccer team. There's some problems there.
Yeah.
Actually, soccer fandoms in general
Yes.
get pretty serious,
There's
but I would say European sports fandoms can get pretty fucking intense.
Well, the fact that I think it was the Italian soccer team going to Britain or somewhere. But yeah, they were told, don't wear your jerseys in public, you'll get stabbed. It was just a PSA they had to make.
They totally stimulate the market too. There are so many jobs created around fandoms.
Yeah,
Agreed.
that too.
Comic book wise, it's because the majority of America, where comic books come from, are white. Yeah, it's true. Also, you got to look at where minorities live. There are no comic shops in the hood. Fair.
Yeah, it's who the product is made accessible to. It's better.
Who has the money to spend on fucking these tiny little like paper back because they're not even really books. You know,
these
what I
little
mean?
magazines that cost.
They're
like
almost
fucking,
like fanzines, but they cost like $5 each,
Yeah.
and to collect them, it costs money.
Yeah,
Like,
it adds
really
up
does.
over time.
I had to stop collecting comic books because I couldn't afford it.
Yeah, I think it's getting better now. Like, I mean, this is one of the like weird morally gray areas of piracy, where it makes it accessible to people who would otherwise not have access to this media.
But then it can also help kill the media.
But then it can kill the media,
Just getting
especially when it's
access
from a
to-
small creator
It's tough,
who
yeah.
really needs those sales.
It's like with the smaller shows like Resident Aliens
Yeah,
on the top of my head right now. It's like if you're not watching that officially, and it's tough for people who aren't in America to
Yeah.
watch sci-fi
Yeah.
on TV.
You can't fucking get it without
You know.
buying fucking Foxtel. And if you can't
Alternative
afford
or whatever.
Foxtel,
Not Foxtel, I think over there. That's us.
Oh, whatever.
But I know what you're
I'm
saying.
talking
Hey,
about
just pay TV.
us. Just a
Yeah.
number of times where it's like, oh, this isn't available in your area. It's on this exclusive streaming service that isn't actually
Yeah.
available to your country.
Yeah.
So good luck with that.
Yeah.
But then the problem is that people who can afford it, have access to it, choose to use the pirated version anyway. And it's like there's no real reason for you to be doing that. You're just being a jerk.
It's kind of like thrifting. It's like poor people do it because we can't afford good fashion. Rich people do it because they're cheap as fuck.
Yeah, they're cheap as fuck, but also because it's become trendy.
Yeah, and it's become trade. I know.
That's not fair.
Yeah, I think comic books for the longest time not a thing of public knowledge or public celebration now is though, and it gets more inclusive as times progress. Yeah, true.
Yeah, I mean, look at how the MCU and like comic book
evolved.
Yeah, that's evolved.
I wonder if anime comics help change the minds of a cis fan after reading about Iron Man being into drag or something. I hope so. Very doubtful.
Very, very doubtful.
Very doubtful, unfortunately.
I've not read that one though. Interested to look into that.
Sure, yeah. I would say this because for someone like me, I spoke Spanish and my family only watched Spanish channels. It was thought video games and movies and shows I learned how to through.
Yeah.
Learn to speak. Oh, yeah, sure. I see what you're saying. You learn to speak English.
Yeah. Superman's author. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Superman's author was actually Jewish.
Yeah. I'm at a hotel ATM using their Wi-Fi, and you guys look like next gen Roblox. Fair enough.
God damn.
Yeah, fair enough. Disagree. My favorite Superman is Dean Cain. Also love Smallville. This Superman show is so whack. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's your opinion, and I don't have no reason to disagree. But do look at the objectivity of how well they're written and made and acted. Dean Cain is corny as fuck. I love the guy, but
I've not seen it.
yeah,
I don't know.
Lois and Clark for the mid-90s.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
It was good. Don't get me wrong, it was very good. But yeah, Dean Cain is corny as fuck. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Hospitals are not fun. True.
True.
That's random, Jackie. I can only speak on music fandoms. I don't know about movies, shows, sports. Fair enough. Fine, just for FYI, has teacher. Oh, she's fine. Okay.
Okay.
X-Men is still an allegory for race. Works for this. Of course, X-Men is still an
Of course
allegory
it
for
is.
race. It's just not a great one anymore.
Yeah, it's just it gets mishandled a lot
Very bad.
because a lot of the time it gets written by just straight white guys who've never really experienced like serious prejudice.
Pretty sure X-Men started as a metaphor for homosexual persecution. Maybe.
I'm pretty sure it was both.
I'm pretty
and
sure
all.
what you're thinking here is Doom Patrol was started as a metaphor for homosexual persecution and minority persecution in general, and X-Men basically just stole the idea and made it more homogenized.
That's comics.
I think the queer baiting in comic book series is just pretty high in general. Yeah. Serenity, when you write Jeff, not Jeff, it's in text. It doesn't explain how things are pronounced. I love the sentiment, but it didn't help. And they're arguing over little things again. We do.
Yeah.
Hey, Rebecca. Hope you're doing well.
Hi.
Good to see you.
We should move on soon, though.
Yeah, we do need to move on to the next section.
Right.
I'm sorry, guys.
Sorry, man.
Oh, shit. We're super behind on these questions.
We're so behind.
Leave a few.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to everybody.
All
right. So now we are delving into the deep, dark, murky waters of the cons.
The cons of fandoms.
The cons of fandom. So first and foremost, creator harassment.
Oy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not cool in general to, I don't know, feel entitled enough to another person's piece of like creative writing to demand what you want to see out of it. Like as is, sending death threats. What the actual fuck?
Yeah, I
like,
mean,
come on.
To be fair, there is extremely few reasons to be sending death threats in general.
Just period,
regardless of who it's to or why.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know?
There's a very short list, you know, of reasons. But
extremely short.
Yeah. But no, just creator harassment, and there's so many examples.
You're talking about this happened in, was it She-Ra?
Voltron, legendary.
Oh right, because everyone tried to force them into a gay relationship when it was that they were actually writing a different one at the time.
It was two. Well, no, it was a fight between two gay relationships on the show. A channel called Izzy's did a video on that. It says IZZY.
Right.
And she did a whole video on that whole debacle. Long story short, the show did queerbait to an extent, but the amount of drama that just came from this ship was fucking stupid.
Yeah, right.
And it just got very ugly very quickly. Look into it. It is a wild ride. But overall, just voice actors, writers, creative directors just being harassed because, no, I want this character to live, or I want this character to die, and no, I think these two characters should get together, or no, this character should have been of this sexual orientation and or ethnic minority. You're being racist or homophobic by not making them that thing. Like, that's not how that works. I'm sorry, guys, but just no. All right, like it is good to see representation in media, but at the same time, especially if you're not from that that background, you're not obligated to show it.
It's like we were talking about yesterday when like it seems like stories these days they all have to have a gay relationship in them, and it's like, dude, if there are people who understand that right in the writing room, totally fine. But it's like if I was writing a story, I wouldn't write a gay relationship because I'm not part of one. I don't understand them.
I would not trust him.
And I don't mean that in a like, well, I just don't understand how gay people work. No, I just mean in the sense that I wasn't raised in that culture, so what am I supposed to write about?
Yeah. It's not your experience.
Not at all.
Yeah. If I was to assemble a fucking writing room of people, I wouldn't be like, okay, Sam, we need a queer relationship. Yeah. Go. What are your ideas?
What?
There's like these guys and
they're both gay.
They're gay. Great stuff. Keep it coming, man. Keep it coming.
It's like, that's it. That's all I've got.
That's all I got. You know, it's like, yeah, you're not obligated to write outside of your own experience. Ultimately, it's a creative outlet. You can do whatever the fuck you want with it.
Yeah.
Fortunately, some people make some really hateful shit, and that's not cool. But no one's really like obligated. Otherwise, because if you go down that rabbit hole, then you have to tick off every single thing, and then it becomes a pandering game.
Well, I mean, that's exactly what happened to Supernatural, where they fan serviced the shit out of that show towards the end, and it just. Like, I had to tap out somewhere through season 9, and I was like, I don't stop watching shows. I finish shows.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And like, I will sooner or later. I'll finish Supernatural, but it's gotten to that point where I'm like, but now it's a chore. You ruined it.
I want to live in a world with sincere representation.
Yeah, not representation for the sake of it.
Yeah, because then you end up with those shows where they're like, yeah, man, it's this really diverse cast, but it's like there's just like one token stereotype character from every background and denomination, and they're like, yeah, man, we're woke. No, you're not. The studio just said, hey guys, we need to make a woke show because people are accusing us of being racist and or phobic. And it really, really shows.
You can tell. Absolutely, you can tell. You gotta write what you know.
Yeah, and also, even bringing up Supernatural, creators being forced to make more of a show.
Yeah, they didn't even want to keep doing it.
They didn't want to. It was over.
Jesus.
It was done.
Well, they wrote the show to be 5 seasons.
Yeah.
It went for like 15.
This dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
This is what fan fiction is for. This is what the fan communities are for. You didn't like the ending? Write a different one.
Do it yourself.
You want these two characters together? Fucking make some fan art of them kissing. But
not Sam and Dean.
Not Sam and Dean, though. Christ. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's
They are brothers?
That's another one. Yeah, you gotta get into. It's just
intense shipping.
Well, shipping kind of pervades over everything.
There are pros and cons to the shipping argument.
I kind of did forget to even bring it up there. It kind of works its way into representation.
I actually do feel like you were saying earlier, the shipping almost feels like an entirely separate video.
It kind of does.
A whole other topic.
I kind of want to do an entire video just on the concept of shipping. But I mean, when two like same-sex characters get shipped together, and that enters the cultural zeitgeist. And that increases the chances of those characters being represented as gay canonically in the future. It's like Tim Drake wasn't always bisexual, but now he is because fans continuously interpreted him as bi or queer to some extent, and the writers were like, yeah, you know what, why not?
You know what's weird though? I've always kind of seen Tim as somewhat asexual.
Yeah, that could work too.
He's not into anyone.
I could see that.
Tim's like in love with fighting crime.
oh, crime fighting! You're my one true love. Actually, you know what? The two characters I always thought would be more interesting to see interpreted as gay or queer to some extent would be Jason and Damien.
I don't give enough of a shit about Damien, but let's talk about Jason.
But
sure.
I mean, dude, in terms of making Damien a more interesting character. It's something. I don't know. It's something to me. It would.
You'd have to do a lot of writing to make Damien interesting to me.
Hey, I said a little bit more interesting. But yeah, Jason, like people always go for. They just like a lot of times depict him as like just very violent and aggressive. But you know what?
Which I mean, because he's a bit broken in the
head.
head.
Yeah, for sure. But that would tie in very nicely to like, yep, gay, raised by a fucking abusive, homophobic father, internalized a lot of homophobia, then had to grow up in the streets, perceives his homosexuality as a weakness that he needed to hide. It works. It can really work from a narrative perspective that stays true to the essence of the character. So yeah, shipping can kind of open the gates to that. So it can have positive aspects. Didn't mention it before, but problematic shipping, problematic concepts and ideas. Looking at you, Twilight.
Oh God.
Just being.
We got the whole movie series out of the disgusting, like fucking fanfic stuff that was Twilight. You know.
Yeah, that's where just the normalization of really toxic concepts because. Oh, but that's my stan. I don't give a shit. Yeah, no. Your stan is a rapist. Yeah. Your stan is a genocidal murderer, and you're making these posts about how they're so cute. Like, no.
That's like people standing the Joker.
Yeah. Stop it. Yeah. Stop it.
The Joker and Harley Quinn.
Stop. No, they are not. They are not goals. They are not.
Unless
goals.
your goal is to get beaten to death by your boyfriend.
Maybe don't.
Yeah, it's not a great goal though.
Maybe don't though.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe just fucking do not do that.
Definitely don't.
And then, the other thing that leads into that is the flame wars. It's just the amount of harassment and aggression and
people
toxicity.
Don't know how to talk to each other, for one.
Lack of communication.
Especially online. It's very, very difficult to clearly and concisely get across your point, even in a video. Like, we get misinterpreted all the goddamn time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Talking.
Yeah.
And think about how much more difficult that is in written form when you don't know the person.
You don't know the person, you don't have tone, you don't have facial expressions to go by. Like
No
the other
history of what they're like.
What is it? The other 80% of what conversation is made of? I think it's only 20% is verbal.
Yeah, roughly.
It's actually just the words spoken.
Mm.
But yeah, it really gets out of hand. Where again, watch the Voltron video that Izzy's has, because it is a masterclass in toxic fandom. All right, it's just all the tropes are there, all the hallmarks are there. But yeah, unfortunately, the thing with Flame Wars and getting like arguing with each other is you really don't know who you're talking to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. You think you do. You have an idea. You got an assumption you're going by that it's someone who's relatively like you.
No, but like so often people will think, well, this person is like this other person I've met in real life. You're always trying to contextualize with somebody else's like mannerisms, body language, history, and it's like they're not that person. Yeah, they are somebody else.
You can't do that. Yeah, because
but this is like a subconscious thing.
People don't know
they're doing that.
I know, but you have to kind of be aware of it and not just run with it on an instinct. Because something that happened in the Voltron one was that because basically the whole thing with one of the ships is that people were saying that like it's pedophilia and like borderline incest because they were like it's these two characters who met when there's like a significant age gap between them. And in the series, they were depicted as having more of a brotherly relationship, but people saw it as like, oh my god, but he's like so fixated on rescuing him, and like, oh, I just think that like, there's some like romantic tension there that he looked up to him for so long, but now it's like becoming something more. And I personally was like,
don't romanticize that direction.
He was too young.
Well, here's the thing: even if you do see it that way, don't be hopeful that it goes that way. That's not the outcome you want.
They met when one of them was a grown adult and the other was a child. That's an inherent power imbalance.
To be clear, what you're talking about is a mentor-mentee relationship. Yeah. And having been on the mentor side of that for quite a few times in my life, I can tell you very specifically, it is a clear and direct line. Yeah. There is 100% a power imbalance.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, and by the way, I am talking about Sheath. If you are familiar with the fandom, but the other one, Clance, basically the whole argument around that was they're totally obviously going to be a couple. Like, I can't believe that they're not doing this. This is blatant queer baiting. I can't believe that they're being so homophobic, and anyone who doesn't support this ship is homophobic.
This is between
the
old.
No. This is between two other characters. But basically, as far as I saw it, it really was just edgy boy and funny guy. Like, don't get along, therefore they must want to be together deep down.
What?
Yeah, it's a very common trope.
Yeah, people really do get this thing where, like, because there's tension, it must be sexual.
Yeah, opposites attract, guys.
Oh, okay. So I think this ties into people not understanding that there are more than one type of tension. Yeah. And being very unclear on what real sexual chemistry actually looks like. Yeah. Because the amount of people I've met who do not understand what flirting is or how to do it. And then that kind of sort of helps explain why so many people will see like these weird dynamics on TV where people basically hate each other and they're like, but they care so much.
They must be in love. Like, dude, no.
Dude, caring a lot about someone does not mean you're in love with them. I had that kind of adversarial relationship with a girl when I was in high school. And I'll be honest with you, after we had our like argument or fight or blow up or whatever, I did not want to hook up with her. I wanted to hook up with her when we were friends. Yeah. After we started fighting, I just
ruined it.
I hated the girl.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you such a bitch?
Yeah, it's a bit of a disconnect between what they see and like real life because they haven't experienced it in real life. Because again, you don't know who you're talking to, so a lot of the times it is really kids. Yeah, it is like
kids
12, 13-year-olds who have zero relationship experience.
Sometimes the comment on the other side of the screen.
The comment on the other side of the screen is a kid, and they have no experience with this shit, but they're defending it to their last fucking breath because they're so invested. Yeah. And that's where you end up with instances where, one of the voice actors on the show, on Voltron, got harassed by someone for like supposedly siding with one of the ships in this ship war, and she kind of snapped back at them, being like, fucking, why don't you message me directly? Why don't you say this stuff to my face, you coward? And it turns out, she kind of snapped, but
but this is a child.
It was a 13-year-old kid. Yeah. She kind of assumed that it was an adult. The language was very adult. There were lots of slurs and insults being thrown around, but it was a 13-year-old kid. And then, unfortunately, the backlash from the opposing side on that kid who doubled down were like, yeah, fuck you. Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Harassing a child.
They harassed the shit out of him, and he pretty much completely quit the internet. Had to, like, just leave all platforms because of the amount of harassment they were getting, and the voice actors had to make a public apology, being like, yep, I really should not have lost my temper, and really should have thought more about the consequences of my actions, because, yeah, you just don't fucking know.
Well, and this is something we do have some direct experience with having a comment section, having videos that do get seen, you know. We have to remind ourselves how often, like, you're reading a comment from someone, it's like, how often is this person, like, a child or in a really bad situation?
Yeah.
Or, like, it's just in some way they don't understand.
It just has a completely different, like, life to us, which has led to a completely different perspective, you know? That is clashing with ours, but, like, we're making a bunch of assumptions. Like, how can you not know this? But it's like, well, maybe they don't. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's something to try and keep in mind, and it's actually one of the reasons why we don't respond to a lot of, I guess, criticism.
Yeah.
It's not because we don't want to talk about criticism, it's because we don't know who we're talking to.
Exactly.
And having that conversation in a comment section especially, it's gonna go wrong.
It inevitably will.
Things are gonna get misinterpreted. Like that kind of discussion is usually started from someone misinterpreting something we said on screen already. What's the chances they're gonna correctly interpret the thing we wrote?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
It's really just not worth the effort most of the time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I wish it was.
It's very just difficult to keep it on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, I would like to also just clarify for the whole, like, Voltron thing. I'm not for either side. I think the whole thing is stupid. Period. But honestly, yeah, it was kind of like the sheath thing was the age difference. So it was kind of like the ship itself was the more problematic part. But then on the Clance end of it, it was the fan behavior, because from what I've heard, don't know for sure, but from what I've heard, that's where the death threats started. They started with the, like, you guys are homophobic, you have to make this canon, and if you don't, then you know you're not representing gay people, and you're fucking queer baiting everybody, and blah
That's
blah blah.
That's not
blah.
how you get positive representation into your thing.
Yeah, and it's very clearly just a small, very loud minority of kids getting overly invested. Maybe a few adults here and there, but probably just, a bunch of overly enthusiastic fans.
You're going to get a lot of teenagers.
Yeah, you will.
In these kind of conversations, especially because, again, teenagers are still learning how to talk to each other, and they haven't even learned how to talk to each other in a general sense, let alone in a comment section.
Yeah. Oh, guys, keep in mind, anytime we do criticize teenagers, we're kind of more criticizing our past selves.
It's not just ourselves. it's teenagers in general, and we are included in that because we were once teenagers.
That's from our experience. It's not
just keep in mind, everyone was a teenager at some point, or will be soon.
Oh yeah, no.
We all sucked as teenagers.
Yeah, I just don't want anyone to get the impression that we'd be like, these damn kids these days. It's like,
it's nothing about these
teenagers. It's being a teenager.
Yeah. And for any of you teenagers out there watching, try to think about empathy.
Yeah, it's all right. You're okay. This is a normal part of your life. Right? We're not trying to shit on you guys or anything like that.
Yeah.
But but that whole thing you're talking about is like different ages and whatnot leads into the next point, which is appropriation.
Be concise here. We've got 2 minutes.
Yeah. Well, basically the main and biggest, most egregious example of this
about adults appropriating shit that was meant for kids.
Adults appropriating stuff that was meant for kids. The biggest example, at least online in terms of fandom culture, would be My Little Pony, something that was intended for young girls. Bunch of adult men started coming in, and then subsequently creating content that was intended for other adult men. A lot of it being really violent or sexually explicit, and kids. Because their parents don't freaking know. They just see them watching the ponies, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, cool. Oh, there's a pony con coming nearby. That sounds fun. Yeah, we could all go together. Oh my god, what is that, a body pillow? Ooh. What the hell? You know?" And then they unintentionally expose their kids to this stuff that is really not meant for them and was never supposed to be for them. Then you have the company that owns the IP not really wanting to acknowledge them because they don't want the brand getting tainted.
Right.
But at the same time, that means that a lot of people don't realize that this subculture exists, that there is this, whole thing that's not kind of appropriate for their child involved. So when their kid looks up My Little Pony in Google Images, some really not okay shit is going to pop up and they don't realize.
Yeah.
You're like, what parent would have thought, I need to have the parental lock on if my kid looks up Pinkie Pie?
Okay, to be clear, if you're a parent and your kid is on the internet, the lock should be on.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
But I can
have some fucking safeguards
for sure,
and educate your child on how the internet works, because they're gonna find out very soon whether you like it or not.
Oh, that's a whole other discussion.
Story.
But just in general, the big problem was pages like Equestria Daily. I used to watch the show just for context, that I was involved in the fandom. But yeah, shows forums like Equestria Daily and stuff, which were like fan forums, they would not register as not safe for work sites. They wouldn't come up on a parental lock app or something. It wouldn't block it because it's just a fan forum and it's not categorized as explicitly adult. It's a freaking cartoon for little girls. That's kind of the problem with adults coming into these spaces, and even things with comic books, how there's a fucking Batman movie coming out that's this dark murder mystery that kids cannot watch. Batman
probably shouldn't.
In this context can't be for kids.
Batman is for adults now.
It's for adults, and it's the Schumacher versions are terrible and corny, and we don't like that Batman. We don't want that Batman. We want the serious Batman. We want Christopher Nolan's Batman. That was a Batman.
Sure.
And it's okay, yes, that's cool and all, and yes, I watched The Dark Knight when I was 16, but that kind of does... It's it worked out for me, but it doesn't work out for someone who's 6 to 10 and likes Batman, and all the Batman media coming out is progressively just becoming made for adults.
In some ways, that's not necessarily a bad thing if it's well written.
Oh, for sure.
If the whoever made it, in this case, was it? Oh, I can't remember the guy's name. I know who he is. Matt Reeves.
Yeah.
In this case, Matt Reeves. If he writes an intelligent, how would I put this? Morally well-structured story with good characters, that can be a good thing.
Yeah.
But the amount of people who aren't good enough at writing to make that happen, that's kind of where the problem, I think, lies.
Yeah. I'm not saying it had bad writing, but think of Joker, even.
I still haven't watched that movie.
Yeah.
I'll get to it sooner or later.
It's just one of those ones where it's I can see kind of what you were going for here. But it did get mired in obscurity, and you were afraid of committing to the point. So that kind of...
It's pretty much all movies
left it
of
up to interpretation,
where this is supposed to be a tragic character.
Yeah.
Literally, how many popular tragic characters can you think of that were correctly interpreted?
Yeah. That's a fucking massive part of the whole misinterpretation game.
It's like writing musical satire. How many satire songs are recognized as satire?
Yeah.
Not many.
Yeah.
A lot of but so many times things like that, they're just too subtle for the casual fan.
Yeah, exactly. And the casual fan, there's more of them. So that version of the character is the one that's going to become most widespread. It's your Walter Whites, your Tyler Durdens and shit. And it kind of comes into the
Scarface
reappropriation, but even in fandom culture of things where it's this is the negative side of fans seeing a particular interpretation of a character and being that's what we're running with, where it's this character was intended to be a villain, a bad person, not good, and people are oh my god, they're my stan, and it's this is a bad guy, my dude. This is someone who it's they commit they sexually assault a character, and they're and they see it as oh man, that scene was so sexually charged, I love it. And it's dude, no, that was an assault scene. Draco Malfoy is probably one of the biggest offenders in this regard, where he is essentially a rich, privileged neo-Nazi, but the fans have continuously reinterpreted him
as a misunderstood
bad boy, and it's no, stop, don't reappropriate him that.
Fundamental racist.
He's fundamentally a bad person, and it kind of just implies I'm willing to overlook the racism if they're cute.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, please don't.
That happens a lot.
Please don't.
Again, teenagers. Subcultures.
Because again, it's and yeah, that is I see that as a kind of appropriation because you're
Oh, yeah.
reappropriating something that was supposed to be, a cautionary tale, a tool for,
and you're romanticizing,
it, and you're making it just for someone else who's literally is not invested in the idea of like, oh yeah, like man, racism, that shit's terrible, and is more invested in the idea of yeah, but cute edgy boys.
He's bad though.
Yeah, he's bad though.
He's
oh
so
man,
risky.
that's so dangerous. And mind you, this does not exclusively apply to male characters. This goes both ways. Fucking look up your tsunderes and yandere tropes in anime, where it's like mentally unstable or violent and aggressive female characters who like physically and verbally bully the main character, but they're depicted as like, oh, but deep down they really like him, and that's the only reason they act out and treat him so mean. It's like that's toxic. That's abuse. If you meet a girl that's doing that to you, if you're a guy, that's not cute. don't stand for that shit, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I guess we'll move on to the questions now.
Indeed.
We have fallen behind.
I'm not that big into superhero stuff. I actually really enjoy some feminine laws. I find it really refreshing, which is extra surprising since it's coming from the CW. Yeah, it's just different. They just tried to do something that hadn't really totally been done before, so that's nice.
Yeah.
It's what makes it a good show. Okay, do you want to read a few? I'm just going to go to the bathroom.
All right. Hate when they get upset about the Chucky series being so gay, and everyone's like, he is gay. Of course he's going to give his community the representation they deserve. Yeah. It's like, fuck, man. You can't tell him to not put a part of himself into his own creation. Just get the fuck out of here. Shout out to Smallville Superman. Dude, was my first crush. Fair enough. Cute guy. It's past 20 minutes. Who's gonna tell them? Nah, don't worry. We know. 10 Molly's many first crush. So let's not get there. Don't worry. Yeah, it's just never got why media want to act like minorities and LGBTQ community plus communities don't exist. Short answer: money. Unfortunately. It's Jeff. Yeah. Yes, I know. I want queer representation as long as it's well written and portrayed. If it's not, you can keep it. Well, yeah, exactly. It kind of can even do more harm than good, honestly, if it's not done right. Kind of leaves a bad taste in people's mouths. I remember seeing fandom content of a Swedish show called Scam a couple years ago, which would be unheard of several years ago before the social media boom of fandom culture. Exactly. You find shit that you never would have heard of otherwise. Anime would not be as mainstream as it is now if it wasn't for the internet and fandom culture, and then all the subsequent influence that anime culture has had on other shit, like music and stuff. Fan works can explore characters that get little to no development in the original works. Yeah, it's true. People can just hone in on the shit that they liked and the shit that they think should have been in the show and have their own little interpretation of it that gets supported by other fans, Which is part of the reason why I don't understand why people get so goddamn up in arms about stuff being canon or not canon in a show. Like, I do get it when it comes to representation and whatnot, but because it is important, but at the same time, you totally have the power to fix it. Great. Okay, talking to each other. What do you guys think of nostalgia media catered to large fandoms? I just thought about this because of the recent Harry Potter reunion. I mean, it can be good. It can be pretty cool, just because there are those people who like that stuff, and it's nice to have your interests. It's nice to have content being made for your interests, but at the same time, then you end up with the cash grab end of things, where studios and companies are just pumping out as many IP products as possible because they think, well, that's what people want. They want IP products, but without any real understanding of what made that IP great to begin with. They're just kind of slapping the name onto a hot pile of garbage and saying, here you go. And then the market gets absolutely flooded and oversaturated and everybody's upset. If it has a fandom wiki page, it's a fandom, and everything had a fandom page, yeah? No problem, slowly to watch the phenomenon. Okay. Slowly to watch the phenomenon unfold. A few years ago this kind of platform didn't exist. Yeah, exactly. Pretty cool. To be honest, the difference between sports-related fan activities versus female fandoms is the perception of the gender that mostly consumes it. Yeah, that's largely true. I write fan fictions about real persons, soccer players, F1 drivers. I would never write something like the After series. Well, yeah, it's not that you can't write fan fiction about
it's just how
real
you
people.
handle it.
It's about how you handle it.
Yeah.
It's about how you do it. You just have to be very, very careful because you are dealing with a real person and not a fictional character.
And if you are going to write something that maybe has some morally questionable shit, maybe just don't post it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I actually don't have a problem with that girl writing her weird abuse storyline that is After.
Yeah.
But, like, just keep it to yourself.
Yeah, man.
Maybe don't encourage other teenage girls to get into abusive relationships with shitty guys.
Yeah, that's between you and God. Jackie. Okay, so talking to each other a little bit.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Jackie and my mom.
Yeah.
Just talking to each other.
That's so cute.
What's up, guys? Were either of you on Tumblr? It's really interesting to watch how fandoms have behaved over time on there. No.
I've kind of not been on Tumblr. I didn't really have an account or anything, but I have seen lots of posts and trends from there. So it's fascinating.
Soccer is more like religion in Europe. Yeah.
Mm.
From what I can see, that's not a good thing.
I mean,
bad.
when you think about it, the infighting, the arguing over canon,
all of
the
the
different interpretations, it all has a lot of striking resemblance to religion.
Yeah.
Arguments about whether or not certain characters meant certain things or said certain things. Yeah, that makes sense.
I didn't own a comic book until I got a job in high school. When I was a kid, I read them because my brother would borrow them from his rich white friend.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Similar experience for me, except I didn't have a brother to steal shit from. Borrow, whatever.
Mm.
And if you mess with my friends who mess with me, Jack, all right, Jack and my mom talking to each other, cool, good guys. Doing well, fellow movie dads. Hope you're both well also. You know what? Generally pretty good. Little tired.
Yeah.
I've been working kind of hard, but pretty good.
The worst Phantom.
Whoa, I missed the Doom Patrol comment. Thanks whoever said it. And also, sorry my comment came right after the race comment. Didn't mean it to sound dismissive. Good thing is I don't remember which thing sounded dismissive, so you probably didn't get that hard into it. But yeah, Doom Patrol is just interesting. It's most of the shows that I'm hyping up, like Resident Evil and Doom Patrol.
You mean Resident Alien?
Resident Alien.
You said Resident Evil.
I heard that. Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, Resident Alien, Doom Patrol, Stargirl. They're just different takes on these stories. They're just interesting. They're not just doing the same shit every other show has done. You know, worst fandom, Supernatural. One of, yeah. Morning, Sarah's. I'm gonna go with Sarah's. I know we've done this every live, but people be crazy.
Yeah, it really does boil down to that. Just people get way too invested. I think that the defining point, the line, is really when you start defining yourself by the fandom you're involved in.
Yeah, you don't get too defined. Yeah.
It's something that you like, but it's not. It isn't you. You are not. Just the sum of your parts is not made up of your interests.
Yeah.
Okay. You're more than that.
Yeah, it's like it's one of the things I like about being fairly passionate about a few different things is that I don't identify as any one of those things.
Yeah.
I'm not specifically just a basketball player or a metalhead or
because the problem with that is that if you do, then if somebody criticizes the thing you like, they're directly criticizing you.
Yeah. I used to write fan fiction, and it was really fun until the fandom got really toxic around one of my favorite characters to write about. Having a fandom turn against you was really scary. Yeah.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
I've heard the stories. It's not pretty.
No, for real, let's talk about Supernatural. Oi. Yeah.
Man, that could be an entire fucking video in and of itself.
Yeah, but we did. Yeah, we did talk. Yeah, I totally agree with not harassing creators as showrunners, but there are also creators who ignore what the majority of the fandom wants just to get their own vision But it's their fucking project.
Okay, when it's something that's like actively hateful or like phobic in some way, if they're leaning into
you can't dictate what someone can or can't write.
No, I know you can't like you technically can't like force them to like write certain things, but things like say the first Ace Ventura movie at the end it just got flagrantly transphobic.
Absolutely,
and it should be acknowledged as like, yeah, no, that was bad, and they should have done something different. But even if the majority of fans like agree on that, it's like they don't have to. It's a sad reality, but
here's the problem though: you can't say that like and I agree with what you're saying about
Mm.
Ace Ventura, by the way, that the ending of that is disgusting.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
However, if you try and say that they should have written something different, you're a hypocrite, because they're going to do... Why is it that they can't say that about us, or like the left or whatever? Like, why can't some hateful asshole be like, well, you can't write this positive message? How is it different? We're just telling people what they can and can't say.
Well, look, like...
Censorship is not positive.
Well, look...
you got to educate.
No,
you
for
have
sure.
Discussions.
Well, for real, it's more like what should be happening is that the public zeitgeist moves in a direction that movies like Ace Ventura, with that ending, don't get made anymore because no one wants to watch them.
Yeah.
Basically,
I agree with that.
What you like, people trying to levy like comments and like requests to the creators, that doesn't really do anything. The bottom line is engagement with the content. If you see something in a show that you don't like or you think is problematic,
speak out about it.
Speak out and maybe like don't watch it anymore.
Sure,
that's all you can do.
Yeah, you can't force someone else to write a different story because it suits your narrative better.
It would be nice if someone writing a homophobic fucking story could just be told could just be told like no, you don't get to write that anymore. Shut the fuck up. You're being awful and you are being mean and you are being nasty.
Deciding that,
but
whether
again,
it's true or not.
Exactly. But that kind of that's a fantasy. That doesn't exist. That's not how the real world works, unfortunately.
Definitely not. Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. Just the whole talking to creators about stuff. If they're receptive, that's great. But you really need to accept what your limitations are as a fan.
You have to understand how to communicate with these people too. You can't just tell people how to do things and expect them to give a shit.
If they don't
respect your opinion.
If they don't want to, they don't want to. I mean, that's shit. That sucks. But
not even necessarily. I mean, like sometimes people again, you need to have the discussion because it's about education.
Yeah. Look, it would be nice. What I'm saying is, like, it would be nice if you could message a creator and be like, "Hey, I think that this thing that you guys did was actually kind of problematic," and they're like, "Fuck, damn, didn't really think of it that way."
Yeah.
And something like that you mentioned happened in The 100, where they kind of went into the bury your gays trope.
Unintentionally.
Yeah, unintentionally.
Yeah, they were just writing from this is a story, and then like when people brought it up, they're like, "Oh yeah, I didn't think about it like that."
Oh fuck, yeah, shit. Oops. Okay, if we had a chance to do it again, we would definitely do it differently.
And that's how discussion works.
But that's as good as it's gonna get.
Yeah.
That is really as good as it's gonna get. And jumping into like, cancel party for this show and whatnot. It's like, dude, don't watch it if you think it's problematic, if you don't like it. But that's all you can really do.
Just go to the socials.
Yeah, we're just going to jump on socials. We've run out of time anyway. But
this is just wind down.
Yeah, this is the wind down stuff.
Now, yeah. Cons too many gatekeepers, harassment for plot points to go to the fans and the writers, and disrespect for the actors other than Jared and Jensen. Are you talking about specifically about the supernatural fandom?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but that all comes down to like the negative flame war type stuff.
Yeah, gatekeeping falls into that flame war category, I guess. But yeah, that's something I didn't really touch on. It's just the whole idea of like, are you enough of a fan?
Yeah.
Because it's those people who have defined themselves by this fandom or this piece of media that they like, and then deciding that, well, if you don't define yourself by it like I do, then you're not good enough to like this show.
Christina bringing up F1 again always. Regarding the fans this season were bad. We're each at each other's throats like the entire 22 races. Again, sports fandoms can get really bad. This is really tough, yeah. People that taking it too far is the main con. I mean, I respect that you're a fan, but please don't shout at me because I am not. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Again, it's communication issues. People don't know how to talk to each other.
Yeah.
Death threats are really weird because, like, how do you get mad at an actor for playing their role in a TV show?
Yeah.
People just don't think that far ahead. I don't know how else to put it.
That's the most bizarre part. Harassing actors.
Yeah. Like Vanessa Morgan in Riverdale, she got a bunch of death threats for breaking up Jug. What the fuck? Yeah, okay, sure.
Okay.
Well, it's like William Zabka. He plays Johnny Lawrence in Karate Kid, Cobra Kai.
Okay.
He got fucking like hate. He got like people trying to beat him up in the street and shit because he was the bad guy.
Yeah.
He's Johnny Lawrence. And he's like, dude, I'm just a guy who played a character.
He's a fucking actor.
Yeah.
It's same with like Lena Headey at cons for at panels for Game of Thrones would have like fans death stare her
not really surprising.
and just pass her over for an autograph.
Yeah.
And like the director, like other like actors and like members of the crew be like, oh my god, I'm so sorry that happened.
Mhm.
And she's like, no, it's fine. That means I'm doing a good job.
This is
And
true.
that's a good way to take it.
If you could think about it like that,
if you could take it that
and
way,
she's
that's
right.
great. But the
She is correct.
I forgot the name of the guy who played Joffrey.
Didn't he get like hated out of acting?
He quit acting.
Yeah,
he quit acting.
Yeah.
Like completely.
I don't blame him.
He does humanitarian work now, and that's fantastic. You know, there's nothing wrong with
Just
doing.
bullied into being an amazing human being.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a career change, but yeah, it can be not great.
Game of Thrones should have taught people that not getting what you want makes the story more compelling. No, I didn't watch it. Game of Thrones always seemed like the epitome of toxic fandom, and I was like, fuck no.
Yeah.
Yes, please, what I really cannot get behind is hating an actors because something their roles do they don't agree with. Actors are not all responsible for that. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like if you don't like how it went, just write fan fiction like the rest of us. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's that simple.
I think some people need to move on. Like when a thing is over, just leave people alone. Absolutely. But people get attached to shit. Yeah. Better write something you understand than risk writing something full of stereotypes and misinformation. 100%.
And there are plenty of fucking
That's what I'm talking about.
well-meaning examples of that.
I see people harass a member of a group I like because he didn't say something about another member's personal life. Like, it's very weird. That is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like not everyone's super involved with each other's shit. Someone who finished Supernatural for the sake of it, goddamn. Good work, Jim.
Well done.
It might just make you more upset. I know. There's a reason I'm putting it off. It's so obvious when the writers' room of the fandom just started beefing. Dude, yeah, it started happening pretty early, and it just got worse. You could tell. You could see it happening over like 4 seasons. Honestly, any show that goes longer than 6 seasons will start to suck at some point. That's just the way it is. To a degree, I somewhat agree with you, but then like Stargate ran 10 seasons, and even the final 2 seasons without their main star was still great.
It depends on the story.
Depends on how well it's written and how well it's acted.
Yeah, how it's acted, but also even just like, does this need to be a longer story? Does it need to be a shorter story?
In some cases, it's a story that could just theoretically go on forever.
Yeah,
so the question is again, how good are the characters?
Yeah, exactly.
How well written is all this shit? Yeah. I hate when people take their fan theories too hard and then get upset when anyone thinks otherwise. Yeah. Big one I have is Elsa being into women. She talked to one girl for one scene.
Yeah, also,
Fair.
that's another... I'm sorry, but Elsa is just a flagrant example of queer baiting. Like, they got this whole thing of like,
she's specifically saying that she hates the fact that people think it's queer baiting.
No, I know, but like...
And quite frankly, I never got that from that.
No, I'm like talking about when people get super aggro over the idea. They're like, no, Elsa is definitely gay, 150%. And it's like, Disney did the most half-assed version of representation for that character.
If Elsa is gay, then all women are gay.
I know.
I'm sorry.
It's like there is
not direct enough.
There is nothing there that directly shows her being into. Because honestly,
if they
the only thing that represents you as being queer is doing something queer, and that's not necessarily dressing a certain way. Yes, I know that queer coding is a thing. That's a whole separate thing. But really, when you're talking about, oh yeah, no, guys, we totally did a representation this time around. Do they have a same-sex partner? Are they being shown in a queer relationship? Well, no, but like, they gave this character this like meaningful look and like, no, I don't know, actually.
Well, it's a little bit like the Korra thing, where they actually did try to do that, but they didn't do it good enough.
Yeah, they did it like at the last minute, and it's like, bro,
when I showed Maria, like the Korra after watching Avatar, obviously, she was like, I told her ahead of time, they're going to do this like gay relationship for Korra throughout the last season. I want you to watch out for it and tell me who she's going to date. She didn't figure it out, even though I told her ahead of time. And like we were both like, can you see it? She's like, really?
Yeah, because
that's what you're talking about?
Pathetically established.
It's fucking sad.
And
and I understand for the time it was.
Yeah, and I get that people. No, there were better examples even at the time. Sure. I will not stand for that argument. I've heard that one before. Like, but for the time, it's like no, there were way better. There were way better examples for the time.
There you go.
But no, it's just that whole fucking like, oh yeah, this was totally representation. No, it wasn't. Stop validating. I know you want it to be representation because it's really like scraping the bottom of the barrel sometimes, but don't validate this shit. Don't give Disney a reason to keep doing it and think that they can keep getting away with it.
Yeah, don't give them the idea that they can kind of like somewhat just touch on it and that's good enough.
They're not,
like, we
not
did
really.
It.
Yeah,
we did
exactly.
I watched 10 seasons of Grey's Anatomy. I know the way you guys feel about Supernatural. At some point, it just should be over.
Yeah,
pretty much. Bad representation is worse than no representation, yes. And diversity among writers should translate to the storytelling.
Exactly.
100, yeah. Okay, but that one episode of Supernatural where Sam and Dean run into those guys that are a gay couple that are cosplaying them was hilarious and somewhat disturbing. Yeah, somewhat disturbing? Somewhat?
Oh my god. I mean, kudos to the writers for leaning in so hard.
Mm-hmm. Oh god, Emily in Paris. Yeah.
Oof.
Got called out so bad for season 1 to the point the Golden Globes got investigated for discrimination, allowing people to buy awards instead of giving them out based on merit.
Yeah.
Totally fair, and apparently season 2 is just as bad.
Mm-hmm.
Maria was telling me she was hoping that maybe they'd figured it out and would improve season 2.
But they didn't.
No, they were super racist against Ukrainian people specifically. And he was just like, okay, this is a little too close to home. Very incorrect, thank you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, being Italian and having an Italian family, yeah, people have some pretty spicy opinions about Eastern Europeans in general. Shit gets not okay.
Yeah. Still can't believe you guys watched Twilight. I barely know any girls who enjoyed that either. We like good movies too. I know. Yeah, well, we wanted to give it a shot. It's a popular franchise. I think that there were positive elements of Twilight. It's just that the relationships weren't one of them.
Look, I'm fine if you like Twilight as long as you can acknowledge the toxic parts of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Question for the buds. Have you read any fan fictions you really like? What's it? I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't read fan fictions.
I haven't read fan fiction for years. I probably couldn't. I couldn't name one off the top of my head. I read a lot of Teen Titans fan fiction back in the day, though.
I like Twilight. I know this is trash. And I'm gonna make fun of it kind of way, and I point out the problems kind of way. Yeah, sure.
That's cool.
Yeah. I see. I don't see the point in reading Teen Titans fan fiction. I'm like, it's comics. Everything is.
Oh no, this was specifically
about the show.
For that one.
Yeah. I kind of felt that way about
Padme and Anakin.
Oh,
age
was
difference.
Like right. Yeah, I'm with you. Wait, but the age difference?
Yeah, probably talking about the comparisons as that Voltron ship. Because she was...
Wasn't she she was 10 years older than him?
Yeah, something like that. And he was
definitely
very young. It was weird.
It's definitely a bit weird, yeah.
God, to the point that people were like... Oh my god, people were making jokes about how Anakin killed that room full of younglings because he was afraid Anakin would fall in love with another minor.
Ooh. Padme. You said Panakin.
Oh, Panakin.
She is Panakin.
Anakin, I'm Panakin.
Can we talk about Pretty Little Lies? I have
never seen it.
So, we can't talk about it. I would like to. Okay, you guys talking to each other. That's cool.
That's cool.
Pretty Little Lies worked really hard to say that young teenage girls should be dating older men. Oh, God.
Oh,
is that what happened?
Oh, no.
Is that what that was?
No.
Okay, all right.
We're not doing that.
That's... Okay, all right, moving on. Damn, you guys have such a good take of the subject for the refresh. Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
We try, yeah. Didn't Spencer's... I don't know what's going on there. I think ship wars need a whole live to be thorough. Yeah, exactly. We're going to get into the whole shipping and ship wars thing in a different video.
That'll be a whole other thing.
We might have guests as well, so yeah. Maybe we can tie that into a specific other creator. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sleep is awesome. Please tell me, Edward and Citric. Oh, you're talking to each other. I see. Ships can be problematic, like that RJ Burger. I'm not sure what. Where the jock was closeted gay with Billy, the guy who was with him publicly. Like, okay, holy shit.
Okay,
fair enough.
Okay, I saw a similar thing to that in the show. What was it called? Sex Education, but they did it a lot better. Where I'm pretty sure that after the bully kind of came out and they hooked up, he stopped bullying him.
Cool.
He wasn't like...
That's a good start.
It's not... I mean, it's like... It was not just... It wasn't trying to depict it as super healthy and shit. The whole point of the show was to depict the trials and tribulations and difficulties of puberty and coming up and, as becoming an adult and whatnot and all the, complicated stuff that comes with that. Being a closeted kid who's really angry and has a lot of internalized homophobia and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, it was interesting. It wasn't supposed to be positive, but it seems like they did a better job than what you were talking about.
I had a friend who watched Pretty Little Liars and would hook up with our English teacher, and they got married the Christmas after graduation. Jesus Christ! How was this allowed to happen? How did this guy not get fired if they got married just after graduation?
Yeah. Honestly, if it were my choice, if I was in that position, I would fire the teacher who got married. And he was like, no, we married after graduation. I don't care.
Hold up. Wouldn't this be grounds for an investigation? Like, were you not screwing a minor?
Yeah.
Should you not be in jail?
At least at the very least, not suspicion that you are. I mean, they can say like, no, we only hooked up and stuff like afterwards. I'm like, I don't care. I'm checking everything, and you're fired, mind you.
Okay. Where are we going? The bronies, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very mixed bag.
Fandom culture con, not understanding the criticisms doesn't mean that they hate the show, it just means that they want to... Yeah, we're going to do, again, a whole episode on just hate versus criticism, because the way people misinterpret these is just, it fucking kills me.
Yeah, people just see
so
them
hard.
as one and the same.
Yeah, the amount of times we've had people in our comment section talking about, I can't believe you hated this, that, or the other. I'm like, bruh, I just didn't agree with every decision they made on this character or this storyline. I actually enjoyed the whole movie.
I'm going to say outright, Little Mermaid was probably one of the biggest offenders where people are convinced that we hated that movie, even though we literally have in the title that it still stands up and it's still good.
Still a solid movie.
Still a solid movie. We liked it.
Yeah.
It just has some elements that we didn't like. And that's
like,
fine.
I'm sorry. By the way, while we're here, I'm hoping none of you guys were seeing... who watched that video thought that we missed the deaf-mute thing, because we specifically addressed communication between deaf-mute people or people who don't speak the same language or whatever. And we probably got about 50 comments talking about how, so people who are deaf and mute can't find love. I'm like, we specifically addressed that.
Yeah.
Like, a second after we were having that conversation, we brought up that example.
Yeah, it's very annoying.
Are you guys serious?
Yeah.
Sorry, I know that probably none of you guys.
Just a little gripe.
Yeah. I feel like people forget that the reason we love these shows is because we're loving these creators' ideas. Once you start forcing your ideas on them, it isn't their creation anymore. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much. J.D. Nicholson's BronyCon video covers that stuff super well. If anyone's interested, I think I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah. Izzy's also does a video on that. The internet historian also does a video on stuff like that. It's fascinating.
Yeah. Sounds like me stumbling on odd YouTube content as a kid, trying to watch High School Musical related stuff. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep, that's another one. Just the fetishization of minors in general, just a big part of that problem.
Yeah, well, Lisa romanticization is like a big thing.
Yeah.
It has been for a while, but like... Woo! Okay. The problem with queer representation is it's still so rare that, of course, people will read into any kind of relationship as having a vibe. I'm super straight and I get rep in every movie, so I have it easy. I disagree with that. I do not think that queer representation is rare anymore. I think properly represented, sure, that absolutely, but it is coming up more and more, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's shoehorned and sometimes it's
there.
proper.
It's just the quality fluctuates.
Yeah, wildly.
Because sometimes they're like, we had a gay character in this show, and it's like, it was a side character and they had one line, dude. Come on.
This background cameo role from this random person, they were gay. It's like, what?
I do understand, like, the notion of the vibes, though, when it's something like, say,
but then people misinterpret vibes so hard.
Yeah, see, that's the problem, is that people need to get their gaydar adjusted, all right?
People just need to get their flirting radar adjusted.
Yeah, that too,
It's not even about gay or straight.
Yeah.
It's just tension in general.
Yeah.
So many people misunderstand and misinterpret. Yeah. The way people will see any kind of tension and think, well, tension equals sexual tension. It's like, there's many kinds of tension, and quite a few of them are bad.
Bro, the number of people who shipped Hermione and Draco Malfoy.
Ew.
Yeah. The dude who was actively actively racist, discriminating against her, calling her racial slurs.
Yeah.
And people
for,
like,
the whole series.
oh my god, they're totally meant to be. No.
I mean, do you hate Hermione?
Yeah, I know, right? Like, why do you want her to be with this asshole? But but in terms of like interpreting the vibe, something like Luca, the Pixar movie, that movie is gay as hell. That is as gay as the days are long. All right.
I haven't seen it yet.
But it's not explicit in any way, and Pixar's made like multiple statements. But it's like all the hallmarks are there. So even though it's not explicitly stated, and you could technically make the claim of, well, that's not what we intended, guys. It is also kind of like, yes, we know, but still though, like, how the fuck did you miss this?
Yeah, until I see it.
Yeah, definitely watch it.
We haven't even gone down the whole criticizing a storyline means I'm not a real fan and should quit watching Rabbit Hole. Well, this is what we're talking about with people not knowing how to talk to each other, like misunderstandings, all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? It's literally just the hate versus criticism and how people don't understand the difference between subjectivity and objectivity.
Yeah,
like
really
they
don't.
say they do, but then they'll express an opinion and call it a fact.
Yeah,
and
they'll
like,
say this is objectively true,
like,
that it's a good show.
Like, what? I'm sorry,
That's
that's
up to
not
interpretation.
That's not how it works. It's like people using the word literally for things that aren't literal. Don't get me wrong. I find it funny when it's a joke, but the amount of times they don't understand what they're saying, just, goddamn. Okay, don't get me started on the animated series of Batman.
Yeah.
Sure, I mean, there's quite a few. Which one?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess
I'd
the
assume
original
Batman
one?
the animated series,
Yeah.
but I mean, I don't know. Disney Junior made a Spider-Man show for toddlers, and they did a good job. Cool. Yeah. Good old the Batman animated series. Yeah. Was that Disney's way of saying sorry for letting Drake Bell play Spider-Man for 5 years in Ultimate Spider-Man?
Oh,
I doubt it.
yeah,
that
was a bad show.
I doubt that Disney would apologize for Drake Bell, even though someone should. Maybe Drake Bell. I don't know.
Have we talked about gatekeeping? Now we have.
More or less, yeah. Video games. I want to punch anyone who thinks all video games are for kids. My favorite genre of games is horror. Stop buying kids what they want, for fuck's sake. Yeah. Fair enough. Hate the what trope?
Tsundere trope. So that's the one where it's like, it's not like I like you or anything, baka.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's a girl acts mean because she secretly likes you.
Oh yeah, see,
and
my
just
thing
that
is,
as a concept overall is just.
I definitely hate that.
That's
bad.
That has become that stops being even remotely acceptable after the age of 3.
Well,
okay.
To be clear, 13. But even then. Oh no!
It should be addressed.
It should be
you
talked
can't
about.
just be like,
it should be addressed
well,
by the parents.
exactly. Yes, it really should. But it should be something that's like, okay, no, you don't hit her.
Yeah.
Like I know that you have feelings.
Actually, you
need to get on top of that. From the age of 3 onwards, they're developing cognitive abilities. They can understand like concepts and stuff. You need to start trying to teach them from an early age, or they are going to internalize it and keep doing it when they're 13, and they can do a lot more damage.
Yeah. Now, I will say for myself, I was absolutely raised with this idea of like, if you like someone, you treat them badly.
Yeah.
You tease them.
Yeah.
You mess with them, and it's like, I just bullied some people.
Yeah, straight up.
Didn't even know it.
Treat him mean, keep him keen. And like me and Hazel have that relationship where we joke with each other, but we tease each other because there is an understanding there.
Yeah.
We are both on the same level. We're both on the same
page.
wavelength. You know?
You understand.
But just doing it to someone who like you've never even spoken to before, and then expecting them to pick up the vibes. Fuck off.
Yeah. Best bad boy, Void, Styles, or Gum. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Don't know what you're talking about. Sorry.
Yeah. Off-topic question. We'll be watching Encanto soon. The music is amazing. Yeah, after Sharpay. Sharpay's next, by the way.
Yeah.
J.K. Rowling also wrote Draco into this broken... What? I'm confused by this. J.K. Rowling also wrote Draco into this broken child who is just the product of his parents and secretly does not want to be like them in the last books in the movies. That's going to be a thing.
I disagree. I feel like that was introduced after the fact, kind of in response to fan interpretation, because as far as I saw in the at least the early movies, I know there was a deleted scene in the last film of Draco like helping Harry at the last minute. But yeah, for the most part, Draco's characterization was that typical bully who was kind of all talk, kind of like puts on a big show, and yes, like was raised in a very like prejudiced family, but that doesn't mean that he's not prejudiced. You know, he is a racist. He is a kind of a shitty person. He just doesn't have the backbone to be a truly evil person. Doesn't mean that he's not crap.
Yeah.
You know?
But also, even like, just because you were raised in a shitty environment or whatever doesn't mean you can be shitty.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a certain amount of like, no, like, we'll allow, not necessarily allow, but like, we can forgive certain behavior. But if you're just going to keep being a disrespectful piece of shit, it doesn't matter what the reasons are at a certain point.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
The whole broken child argument.
So many people will just claim that.
I'm sorry, but that just does not fly.
Not good enough.
The only point at which that's like somewhat valid is when Draco's trying to become a Death Eater, and at that point he's very much biting off more than he can chew. But it was specifically pointed out that that was something that Voldemort did as a way to punish Draco's dad.
Right.
That's not something that Draco's parents deliberately put him through.
Mhm.
They actually cared for him quite a lot. If
Mm.
J.K. Rowling wanted to get across a kind of, oh my god, there's so much pressure from his family, and they're like
He did do
subtly
it well.
abusive to him. She really did not do a good job. She kind of just portrayed him as this very spoiled, privileged piece of shit.
Mm.
And they didn't really get much deeper than that. I noticed they did a little more of it in the movies, but again, that was after the fact. That was after people had time to interpret the character in different ways, and they were kind of experimenting with it, whatnot. I just don't like people dismissing the original depiction.
Sure. I mean, I haven't read the books. And
No, that's fair.
This is definitely...
This is my opinion.
So I have no fucking clue.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say is that, being privileged and spoiled or whatever might give you a certain amount of understanding, but it doesn't give you an excuse. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I might be able to forgive you if you're trying to change and be better and actively, putting effort into it. But if not, I don't care where you came from.
Yeah.
Act right.
Yeah.
Be better, or I'm sorry, but I won't, treat you good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't know how to put that.
Yeah, it doesn't...
I won't respond well.
It just...
I don't care why you're disrespecting me.
Yeah, exactly. In the books, at least, it doesn't change the fact that Draco literally just would casually throw around the wizard equivalent of the N-word.
I know, yeah.
You know?
You can say mudblood. It's still just a story.
Yeah.
There's no real...
Oh, no, sure, but that's kind of what J.K. Rowling was essentially getting at with the term.
Yeah, but you can just say
Yeah, he's just saying, well, just throw around the term mudblood.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that doesn't... No. Sorry, mate. Sorry. And yeah, there's a weird thing in the book with even Snape as well being, a flagrant racist, but, he's, a morally grey character. Not really. No.
Right, yeah. Now, if the pride community doesn't push straight characters to be something else, they should leave them as such. These are characters that actually do fit in that category, and then you want... Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there are characters.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's kind of like the Black Superman argument. It's like, we need a black Clark Kent. There is a black Superman.
We don't need it to be Clark Kent. He's somebody else. It's fine.
It should not... The notion of a black character should not hinge on a white history, the already established reputation of the white interpretation of this character.
That's what the multiverse is for. We can have different stories.
Exactly.
Okay. Anyways, I'm out. Have a good one, Sarah.
See you later.
Says that will work, so that's cool. How because of the lack of LG? Well, there's a lot of. Is that
LGBTQIA plus rep, and don't see any problem with shipping non-canon fictional characters, especially as some arena to be queer coded and queer baiting exists in media. Yes, it does. It's just when people get up in arms about it and start harassing people about it, a la Voltron.
Yeah, shipping on a personal level, I want that. It's totally fair, but getting mad at anybody else for disagreeing with you?
Or if you, again, it is totally valid for someone to be like, man, I, totally read these two characters as queer because of such and such and such reasons.
Sure.
And the creator can be like, whoa, I mean, that's not what I was going for at all, but that's very interesting.
Yeah. Cool. It's a good take.
But that creator then does not have an obligation to change the nature of that relationship.
Yeah.
If they're like, well, no, I didn't intend them to be a queer couple, then that's their prerogative. They are allowed to write the characters however the fuck they want.
Yeah. Ben says, I agree. If you really like something and you find someone who likes the same thing, they just take you down with harsh criticism like you don't know anything about said thing. Like, what the fuck? Again, that's a kind of confusing sentence.
Oh, just saying that gatekeeping.
Yeah, sure. And that can suck. I have my limits with what I want, and I learned that you can't make everybody happy. If it really doesn't hurt anybody, ever just go with what you want to do, period. Yeah, do have to be very clear on who is or isn't being hurt, because a lot of people just don't know what they fucking wrote. But yes.
Sure. Yeah. But also, I would kind of agree with a part of that, is that if you're not insulting somebody, then you just don't really have an opinion. You're going to piss off someone. If you create something that's, honest to, what you want, if you have a specific vision, somebody will have a problem with it. Yeah. Inevitably.
Well, it's like the old argument is, if you're gonna tell the truth all the time, half the people that hear you will hate you, and half the people that hear you will love you.
Yeah.
That's just exactly how it is. Jackie's out. Have a good one.
See you later.
Maria Hernandez is happy that you followed her back.
Aww.
That's nice.
I'm sorry to all the people who haven't followed back. It just got too overwhelming.
I told you, you'd run out.
I know.
You'd run out of the ability to do it.
I know.
If an actor has me hating their character, I congratulate them for doing it right. Yeah. I go to so many cons. I love telling actors I love them and hate their character.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's the normal.
Good acting.
That should be the normal response.
Unless, of course, they're just being themselves on camera.
Oh yeah.
I watch your videos almost every day as my champ. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank goodness I only get the toxicity in the sports fandoms. It's in every fandom. Let's be honest, yeah. With Korra, at least they ended up making her and Asami canon by having them be together in the comics. It's not enough.
No,
I'm sorry.
it's not. It's
not
really
even
enough.
close to good enough. Yeah,
I'd say.
Korra and Asami was one of the most weak source lesbian relationships I've ever seen.
I'm sorry, yeah, but
It was very
saying
disappointing.
that something
As a
is
straight guy, I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
saying that something is canon
After
is
the
canon.
fact?
Well, yeah, it's canon after the fact. It's canon. It's like the Dumbledore thing. It's like, oh, he's gay, but like,
Is he?
not really.
Yeah.
Not really, because we're just going to confirm it in an interview afterwards. We're going to put it in this external piece of media that most people are not going to read or see. Korra was already quite flew fairly under the radar
compared to Avatar.
Yeah. And then you're going to say, oh, but this was canon in the comics.
Yeah.
The main Avatar series had a comic series, and most people don't even know it exists. You know?
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, that's just not good enough.
Mm-hmm. A bit off topic, but I hate when people force straight male stars who are very open to communicating with a lot of love and are comfortable with their masculinity to be gay, leave them alone. Yeah. But basically telling someone that they're gay because they have gay interests or coding or whatever is
that is just stereotyping.
It's
Sorry.
a bit weird. I've had people decide that I'm gay, and I'm like, excuse me?
Yeah.
Fucking since when?
Yeah, no, that is just stereotyping, because it always, when you push them about it, it's always like, well, but just because you wore this there it is.
I'll never forgive my straight brother for telling me to watch Legend of Korra because it was sapphic. I watched that whole motherfucking show.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Especially because so much of it is the definition of heterosexual nonsense. Of the heteros are upsetteros.
Yeah. Tara Mooney reference, I don't think you even know, but she had a whole video where the title was heteros are upset.
The straights are not okay.
Tara's great.
It's
Tara Mooney, look her up.
So much of it is the quintessential toxic, hetero ship tropes. Is just makes up so much of that series, and then at the last minute they just tack on gay relationship, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's a sapphic masterpiece!" And no, it's not. Shut up. Don't. Can we not lower the bar this far down?
Any anime show I feel has their own crazy fandom. Every piece of content has their own crazy fandom. Yeah. K-pop fans, yep. Crazy look up Ollie London. Yeah, we know the British guy thinks getting facial surgery makes him Korean. Yeah, I would have punched that guy right in his surgery face.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you can go re-surgery.
Yeah.
Have a great day, chat. Have a great day, buzz. Love the stream. Sleep is awesome. I'm guessing is thinking about getting sleep.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. Just had cookies and cream ice cream. Nice. Mike's Mike is doing a series on Pretty Little Lies. Yeah, he did it a month or two ago. I don't really watch Mike's Mike. You might like him. I don't know.
All right.
He's very Aussie.
Okay.
So,
I can put up with that.
I can't tell if he's Sydney or Melbourne. Seems like a bit of a Melbourne guy. Yeah. No, we'll never catch up with the chat. I know, we're trying. We're like half an hour behind. We're getting there. I'll be a partner with Billy and David soon. Yeah, that's the plan.
That's the plan.
Absolutely. Billy, David, Sophie, Movies in Death, Rebecca Rose. There's quite a list.
Yeah.
We already did one with Tim, obviously. Nickflix is pretty good. There's some good channels out there.
Yeah, we got options.
K-pop fandom's crazy from us. Yes. Hey, buds. Hey, Erica. How you doing? Me who ships Draco. Dude, come on.
Look.
Why are you shipping abusive relationships?
You can do what you want in your own personal time. I just don't have to like it.
That's fair, yeah. I mean, look at it this way. If I fucking had a crush on the people who bullied me for being poor and brown in high school, that would be concerning.
Yeah.
Very concerning.
Exactly. Look, if you want to write your own redemption arc for Draco, in which he realizes all his past mistakes, becomes a better person, and you have this fully fleshed out, well-executed, slow burn romance that eventually comes as a result of that. Okay, sure. I wouldn't do it, but you go hard.
Sure. I think fans were for gay Elsa because the first Frozen movie can be viewed as an allegory for queer identity coming out story in the way that Luca is gay, despite not showing gay people.
Luca went way harder on those allegories, though.
Yeah.
Way, way harder.
Dude, yeah, if it's not clear to the straight fans, then you didn't go hard enough.
Yeah, that's the
Right.
thing. Luca was
Not all.
Luca
just
was
some.
clear to the straight fans.
Right, yeah. It would be Zavid's second channel. I thought the buds didn't even. Wait, what?
I don't know.
I don't know. You're talking to each other. That's cool. Back in the day, Tumblr posts, etc., were going on about how Draco's son and Hermione's daughter would fall in love, and Draco would allow this.
Something J.K. Rowling had said. I mean,
What?
yeah, okay, sure.
So Draco is going to grow up and become not racist.
It can
hope
happen.
so.
I mean, like that would be nice.
I really like the idea that he grew up.
I think that was one of the only nicer things about Cursed Child, the play that they made, which was like a sequel, was that Draco married a girl that his parents vehemently did not approve of, like kind of implying that he had grown as a person.
Okay. Well, that's good. Yeah, good for him. If he grew as a character, whatever. The thing is, as a fan, I also get defensive when it comes to my favorite soccer player, F1 driver. I try not to, but sometimes I just... Yeah, you got to be really careful and clear. Like,
just not get carried away.
And also, is the person criticizing your favorite team, player, whatever, are they being, like, reasonable? Is it valid criticism? Because it's like, if you can't criticize your favorite people, content, whatever... That's an issue that you're going to need to address.
That's stan culture and it's toxic.
Yeah, there's no such thing as the perfect thing.
No.
You know what I mean? No. Absolutely everything can and should be criticized.
I feel there should not be stan culture.
Yeah.
It's just because it just means I love this thing, unconditionally. I actually don't think that the notion of unconditional love is healthy.
We talked about this. Yeah. The idea of unconditional love is an absolute toxic nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Sorry, guys, but I gotta go. It's 1 a.m. I'm guessing if this is Maria's probably already gone at this point.
Yeah, probably. Well,
15
bye.
Minutes ago, but bye. Next thing come to mind. I think we did this. I guess we're super far behind. Had a guy ask me out once about 10 years after he bullied me. If he'd ever been mean to me. Had
a guy ask me once about 10 years after he bullied me if he'd ever been mean to me. Hadn't even realized himself because he thought he'd just been joking.
Yeah, some people literally are that stupid. That's fair. Like I said, there have been a couple of times when I probably bullied people and didn't even realize it. Now thinking back, I'm like, ooh,
yeah,
I shouldn't have done that.
I've had fandoms turn me away from certain shows, movies, just because they're so intense about it. No fault of the content.
That'll happen.
I mean, not necessarily no fault of the content in this example, but Rick and Morty, perfect example.
Yeah,
a lot of people... Fuck off. A lot of people just straight up do not want to get involved in the show or watch it or give it a chance because they're like,
of the fans.
Ew.
Yeah. Ben is heading out. Have a good one, Ben.
See you, Ben.
Don't get me wrong. It's not good enough that they only make Kurosawa canon in the comics. I'm more coming from it's better than nothing opposed to other series where there's no fault of rule. I guess
so.
What you're saying is thanks for letting me scrape the barrel.
Yeah, it's more just like we got to keep pushing for more. You got to keep pushing for more. If you show them that they can get away with that, they will just keep doing that. That will be like, okay, cool, that's the bare minimum, guys. That's what we can function on, and that's perfectly acceptable.
What's the next topic going to be about? We haven't decided yet.
Yeah,
we usually decide a few days beforehand. I swear to God, we will be better prepared the more we go along.
Plan it out.
Yeah. Louisa says Mike's mic is in Melbourne, but I'm pretty sure he's from Perth. You know what? That tracks. That makes sense based on what I've seen from the guy. He seems like a good dude. He's a very intelligent creator. We can give him that. Would you ever want to do Harry Potter? Of course.
Yeah, it's definitely in the cards.
Yeah. I punched my bully and then he had a crush on me. Kicked that motherfucker to the guy.
Oh wow!
I'm glad you punched him.
Yeah, happy you punched him. A little concerned about his the way he reciprocated that.
Actually, I disagree. I think from my perspective, he's just gone. Wait, you capable of standing up for yourself? Oh, strong woman.
Whoa.
You know what I mean?
Whoa. Real men love strong women.
Yeah, but yeah, seriously. I mean, punch your bullies. Totally.
Yes. Punch your bullies, guys.
Lessons from me to you.
Yeah.
Don't. There are times and places.
Look, it's more just, is it worth the fallout?
There is that, yeah. When they're criticizing my favorite player, it is not normally based on... Yeah, this is a big thing in sports, I would say, is people will criticize athletes and teams and just everything without knowing a single fucking thing about what they're talking about. I know this from basketball, but you see people arguing over who's the greatest, Michael or Jordan or LeBron James. And the biggest issue I see is how heavy people get into, well, I think Michael's the greatest, therefore LeBron is trash and not even worth being in the league. And you're like, hold on.
Interesting take.
It's one thing to say Michael's better than LeBron. That's fine. It's not that hot of a take. But to say that, like, because one is better than the other is garbage, you're like, dude, this is, like, we're talking about the two greatest players of all time.
You get that a lot, especially in fandoms, even just with characters and ships. This ship is great, therefore this other ship is trash.
Garbage. And it's like...
Whereas I'm like, I have always shipped multiple characters in multiple configurations because the relationships and kind of nature of their interactions are interesting. It's like what's their dynamic going to be like? What would that relationship look like? And what would this one look like? And, you know, just all over the place.
It'd be curious to see.
Yeah. But, like, this one is the one true ship. Like, okay, you can have a personal preference, but trying to just lord it over everybody else and say that everyone else's ideas are garbage, it's just... Can't we all just get along?
Well, obviously not, but yeah, you know. Sorry, you just hella reminded me of Community, and Troy's like going to become the truest repairman. He's like, I am the one true repairman.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh, actually, that is an interesting point. I will just bring up as a side thing. I do get what you're saying with, like, forcibly, like, like what we were talking about with, like, forcibly trying to, like, push representation into it when it's, like, maybe going to be insincere or not totally valid. Something that came up as an interesting point was this person mentioning Troy and Abed, how a lot of fans ship them together.
What?
Because I know. As, you know, as someone who's had platonic, like, friendships, like, with other men, I can see that as a platonic friendship, and it's definitely that. But they were pointing out how in instances where, say, with them or with Turk and JD, when the joke is that they are queer, it's kind of like you're making a joke of the fact that they are gay. Like, that's the punchline. Gay. Being gay is the punchline.
Well, kind of, but they're not gay.
I know, but...
They're not making fun of the fact that they're not gay.
But it's still...
I do hear what you're saying. They're making fun of gayness.
You're making fun of gayness.
Yeah.
So then you can't be mad if someone who actually is gay sees that, doesn't think it's a joke because it's not funny to them, and are like, oh, so they're, like, implying something here? Or I see it this way. I can see them as a couple. And then people get mad at those people who ship them when it's like, okay, no, that's not fair. They made this. You kind of stepped into their house and then got mad about it because it's like, oh, but, like, no, how dare you say that I was in your house? You stepped in here.
Yeah.
You just put a foot in.
Right, you didn't even take your shoes off. There's shit everywhere.
You came in here and you tracked mud all over my fucking carpet.
Yeah.
So you can't be mad that now this is getting tangled up together. You know? And it's kind of like, part of the advocating for taking out the whole, like, oh my god, they're gay, but they're not gay, like, kind of thing. Like, oh my god, it's so funny. It's like, being gay is not a joke.
Yeah.
Being gay is not a punchline, you know?
I don't think they really did that in Community.
I
can
know
totally
that
see it in Scrubs.
Yeah.
I can see it in Scrubs, but even then, I don't think they were really making a joke out of that.
They weren't. I know that they weren't.
I don't think they were making fun of gay culture. They were just making fun of how fucking close
100%.
JD and Tucker.
Yeah, it's more just that they were coming at it from a specifically heterosexual perspective. But yeah, when you take it from, like, a queer perspective, it's like, oh, okay, that's actually that's either, like, misleading or just kind of hurtful.
Look, the one thing I'll say with the Troy and Abed one is if you're gonna try and ship them as a gay couple, then you're fully prepared to ship like actual straight guys as a couple.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't see the difference because it's like watching Troy and Abed, it's like they just have a fun relationship. It's not romantic.
Yeah, no, I know.
Both of them are honestly a little too innocent for romance to a degree.
Yeah, that's kind of how I see it. That's kind of childlike.
Very
it's almost like two little kids who are like friends and like way too intense about everything.
But also, again, it's just like, for me, watching it as a dude, it's like, well, if you're saying that these two guys are gay, what you're saying is that I'm not allowed to have male friends.
Well, yeah.
Literally, what you're saying is I cannot be friends with other guys because feeling positive about another man means I want to fuck him.
It kind of does then start drifting into stereotyping territory, where it's like, oh, because because they like talked about their feelings and they said I love you, well then that's explicitly gay. And it's like, dude, like homophobic jock douchebags use this kind of logic. I've had that kind of logic levied against me, and it's like, yes, I'm bisexual, but not because I told my best friend that I love him, because I find because I'm sexually attracted to penises, okay? And that's it.
It's a tough one, but
but no, you respect people's sexual orientations. If they say they're straight, then if you try to keep pushing that, then it gets to a point where it's just kind of fucking rude.
Yeah, it just kind of ruins it.
Yeah.
M says, "Happy birthday to me, thank you." Rick and Morty fans really think Rick is Sky Daddy. Yeah, which is weird because he's supposed to be a tragic character.
Yeah,
that's the point of the game.
Someone pointed out how people really did listen to the entire monologue of the psychologist in the Pickle Rick episode, and the only thing they took away from that was, haha, Pickle Rick funny.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go harass a McDonald's employee now.
Yeah. Most of the Hamilton fans criticized that Max Verstappen didn't deserve the championship. Okay, see, this is too deep into, I guess, racing. I don't even understand what you're saying.
No idea.
Next topic should be something controversial. Well,
I feel like fandoms are pretty controversial.
Honestly, everything that we have to talk about is going to be somewhat, but not too much, because we're never taking like a toxic approach. At least we try not to.
Try not to.
Yeah. Rick and Morty was exactly the show on mine when I made the comment about the intense fandoms. Yeah.
Yep.
Fair enough. I was surprised that the replies under LeBron James' tweet once because people were going in on him. Oh my god. Dude, okay, first of all, if it's on Twitter, don't be surprised by how bad the responses are.
The only kind of news you should be trying to find on Twitter, honestly, in my opinion, is just news on new shows.
I would say
stuff for like creative
not specific
shit
new shows,
heavy.
But anything that you like. If you just want new news, new information, season has started filming now, that kind of shit. Yeah. Fair enough.
Early but concept art.
If you're going to Twitter to have actual conversations, you change that.
Just stop.
Just don't do it. You're gonna run into miscommunication no matter what you do. Doesn't mean it's not even 100% on you, because even if you're perfect at communication online, everybody else isn't. So just be. Whoa, damn, you did. Nice work.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Oh wow. Yeah. The OTP. What's OTP?
One true pairing. That's kind of the language they were talking about. So for shipping.
One
true pairing. Yeah, it gets.
I am the one true repairman.
I know.
If I had been the most annoying in My Hero, okay, yeah. So I don't understand any of this. Do you?
Oh, well,
My Hero Academia, I'm assuming.
Hold on, let me find the most on My Hero. Because sick of people saying, yeah, I know, yeah. Okay, so it's kind of like the flagship ship of the series that the creator of it seems to be pushing for is for the main guy and one of the main girls. Okay? And yeah, people I've noticed in the My Hero Academia fandom will get pretty fucking spicy with you if you say that you like that ship because it's straight.
Jesus Christ.
And it's, I mean, like, yes, it's pretty tropey. It's pretty like vanilla as far as ships go. There's not a hell of a lot that it's based on, but it's like they're cute together. They're a pair of cinnamon rolls. I can see the appeal, but yeah, some people get really too in their feelings about you not wanting to ship the main guy with one of the other male characters, which, especially considering, I'm sorry, but Bakudeku, straight up problematic. It's his school bully, and people ship them together.
Jesus,
even
gross.
Their just canon relationship, the like rivals to friends thing, is very sketchy at best.
Okay. Yeah, you got to be careful with that kind of stuff.
So yeah.
Okay, Julia is falling asleep.
Yeah.
Have a good one, Julia. Is it pronounced Julia? Is that?
Don't know. Maybe.
Well, I'm going with Julia until someone corrects me.
Yeah.
So I got some crazy good luck and landed premiere tickets to a Dallas Mavs game January 15th. Would it be cool to shout out your channel on a
Yeah, man, go hard.
Oh my god, I swear to god, if I'm watching that Mavs game and I see a movie about the slime, I'll fucking laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, in a good way, but just like
send me the clip if you see it.
Oh man, that's fantastic. January 15th. Who are they playing on the 15th? That's 5 days from now. Who are they playing? Let me know. I haven't watched a lot of Dallas this year because I'm very disappointed with the way things in the front office have gone. I'm disappointed that they hired Jason Kidd, even though I know he's a Dallas legend. But like, we need to be clear about what happened with his abuse storyline. Because I thought for a long time that he was the one who got abused, but then I found out he was the one who was arrested for abuse, and I was like, oh, wait, what?
That's a really big difference.
It's very specific, I know. So let's find out. I don't know about Jason Kidd. And frankly, even forgetting Jason Kidd's personality as a human being, he's a terrible coach. He does not understand how basketball offense works, which makes no sense considering he's one of the smartest basketball minds of our generation. How does he not know how a team is supposed to score when his job was trying to help a team score?
You're just going to have to make a separate channel about basketball, dude. You have so many feelings.
You say that, but then I have to deal with NBA fans. Yeah. And I don't want to deal with NBA fans.
Alright. I have a Twitter account, lol, but I partake fan stuff and have gotten ratioed, basically piled on for saying people in a musical group are probably co-workers rather than best friends.
You're correct. People in musical groups mostly are just co-workers.
Yeah, it's not even, you're right, it's not even exclusive to romantic relationships. You say like, okay, I just don't really think these two characters would care for each other that much, and people are like, no, fuck you, they're like totally besties and they go on adventures together. It's like, dude, it doesn't matter. And people will even get mad when like, something that was pretty common in the Marvel fandom actually, like, there's this whole like fascination with the idea of like the Avengers basically having like a sitcom style sort of thing, and people being like, yeah, my god, like Peter is totally Tony's son, and like, you know, like it's like he's basically adopted him, and he's like Iron Dad and Spider son, and, you know, and it's like, no, that's, and yeah, people.
But he's a shitty Iron Daddy.
People genuinely get upset over the fact that Marvel didn't portray that more heavily or read into it more deeply, and like, yeah, so many of the things that they're like, oh no, like these two characters should have interacted in this way.
Look, I can
in Endgame, and I fucking hate that they didn't go for that, you know. It's just really like, again, it just comes down to what you think they should have done and what they did, and it's like, man, write some fan fiction about it.
Mars said happy birthday, so thank you. I appreciate that. I have a Twitter account. Okay, we did that. Twitter pylons are a trip. Yeah, Twitter is just a trip in itself.
Yeah.
There's a reason we don't have Twitter.
Yeah.
We're not going to.
I'm not. I'll just let Hazel have it. Anyway, I hope you guys have
a nice day. Yeah. Thank you, Em. And yes, we are finishing up now. So.
Yeah, we'll be wrapping up soon.
Ooh! Dallas is playing Orlando on the 15th. I'm definitely watching that. 100%. I really like the young players in Orlando. Cole Anthony is slept on. Yeah. Even Mo Bamba. I'm really happy Mo's getting a chance to actually play because he's got potential. All right, moving on.
Anime fandoms have so many incredibly inappropriate shifts to become mainstream in those fandoms.
That's pretty much anime.
A large part of the reason why I don't really watch anime anymore. I just don't have the stamina. I keep trying to find shows that don't have like problematic shit that I can get into because I want to start watching anime again. But even just yesterday, I thought I found a cute like romance anime, and then apparently in the very first episode, they just go right off the bat with like sexual assault, but it's depicted as like, no, it's the two main characters who are going to get together, just being like, it's being romantic and stuff. Right. It's like,
so it's an 80s movie, but it's in the 2020s.
One person is forcing themselves onto the other. This is not okay.
Right.
I just please stop.
Cool. Oh, good God. Okay, so, I used to coach my little cousin's local Pee-wee basketball team, and I'm talking kindergarten, 6th grade, and their parents had some toxic moments. I had so many mums threaten to me. Yeah. Sports parents, not good. Not good. Look up LeVar Ball. Don't.
I want to. No.
Although, you know what? His kids are doing well, but they're doing well as they distance themselves from their mom.
Yeah. So, good for them.
Yeah, which, by the way, justice for Jello. He deserves to be in the NBA.
We discussed the ways fandom attack themselves with some people in the Discord once, and yeah, it's crazy how some people will attack others for having a different headcanon than them.
Yeah, just having a different thought process or opinion.
The only time I feel that is even remotely valid, and even then it's kind of like, don't attack people, is when it's problematic. Is when it's like, dude,
you just got to be able to discuss it.
Yeah, you have to be able to discuss it. Because what you want, the outcome you want is for that person to change their mind. You are not going to get that by attacking them. You know, if they start being disrespectful and being hurtful and whatnot, then there is kind of a cutoff point where you're like, okay, no, you just need to fuck off, and you just need to kick them out. But that's even then, that's more of an instance of report them, get them deplatformed, get them out of the discussion, and don't engage.
I disagree with the idea of deplatforming anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe deplatform was the wrong word, but just don't engage. You know, like just get them off of the space where they are harassing people, and you don't have to talk about them anymore. But just coming in guns blazing, telling people like, yeah, but the Voltron thing, it's like, yeah, I think that whole like Keith Shiro thing was problematic because of the age difference, but accusing people of being pedophiles, not the way to go about it.
Yeah, that's not how you have a healthy conversation about this.
Absolutely the worst possible way you could have handled
like,
that.
All you're doing is setting this up to continue being a fight. When
exactly.
You just like, well, if you like this, you're a pedophile. And I was like, whoa, hang on.
Well, yeah.
Whoa.
They're going to defend themselves. What, you think they're really going to be like, yeah, maybe I am a pedophile.
You know what? I'm just minor attracted.
Yeah. Oh, God.
They do that.
Let's not do that.
I'm not joking, for the record. That's not a joke.
I know.
That's what some of these people think, call themselves minor.
I know. We're not doing that.
It's fucked. This whole thing there. As far as parents equal pageant moms, that makes sense. I reckon the only anime I haven't seen problematic fandom for, mind I'm not a huge anime watcher, was Sailor Moon.
I've wanted to watch Sailor Moon for a while, to be honest.
You haven't seen problematic fandom for Sailor Moon? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I have, I'm just kind of surprised.
Yeah.
Cool? Sweet. Oh, that's good. I want a new anime to watch, and everything is just super problematic. It sucks. I've been rewatching Haikyuu on a ton, and now I'm reading the manga while waiting for the new season.
Literally, I'm not going to write down that thing, so I'm actually just going to take a photo. Recommended one.
Okay. I see it as one of the most wholesome romance anime I've ever watched. Just a cute, fun slice of life. Cool.
Yeah.
I don't watch anime.
That'd be nice. Yeah. All right. I'll give that a look because I am
really going to. So.
I really want to. Yeah. But all right. I think it's about time to wrap it up.
Yeah, we're definitely at the end here. Tova, we're gonna answer this one last comment from you. In my childhood soccer team, there was a kid whose father was a famous hockey player who forced his kids to play with older children because he felt his kids were superior to others their age.
Oh boy,
there is a whole discussion to be had there because there's pros and cons. But yeah, I see the issue. Again, sports parents are insane.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting note to end on, but it does kind of tie up the whole thing.
Well, yeah, fandoms are definitely not just media specific, and not just for kids.
No, it's for everybody.
Adults very much get involved in it, and they get too involved in it.
Well, I mean, the parents are getting desperate about their kids being like superstar athletes when they're older, and it's like, dude, do you even know how that works?
Yeah,
whatever. This is a whole thing. We try to, but we
try to read every comment.
no more because we have to end. And I'll feel bad if there's like 10 comments we're leaving behind. So, and so sorry to Christina Mars Celeste. Oh, I mean, I appreciate your things, but we do have to end this now.
Yeah,
we do have to cut off at some point.
So yeah, guys, thanks for coming. I guess we'll catch you in the next one, same time next week.
Yeah. So unless otherwise notified, we do want to do these same time, same place every week. Obviously, if we're going to take a break or there's going to be any kind of adjustment or postponing or whatever, we will let you know. Yeah. But if we didn't say anything, then we're definitely going live.
It's just going ahead.
Yeah, every week.
All right. So yeah, thanks for coming again, and we'll catch you next time.
Have a good one, guys.
All right.